Chapter 337. Lu Chen's question was left hanging in the group for 10 seconds. Suddenly, no one answered him. The lively group suddenly had a strange atmosphere. After a while, someone finally spoke. Admin, strong but not bald, a puppet without a fixed form. I haven't seen it before. Puppet, have you seen it before? Snap of the world, little morning, that's not how you brag. Are you saying that you have a puppet that all of us max level players have never seen before? Feng Qingyang, a puppet without a form. You're exaggerating. No one in the world has seen it before. You're just a newbie at level 30 or 40. How dare you say that? Too fake. Just when everyone was condemning Lu Chen for being pretentious and being struck by lightning, the marionette suddenly spoke. Marionette, wait a minute. I haven't seen this kind of puppet before, but I've seen it in the puppet illustration handbook. Group leader, Orange, what? Is there really such a puppet? Marionette, I don't know if there really is one. In the illustration handbook, it said that this kind of puppet only exists in legends. How about this? Let me take a screenshot. Soon, the marionette sent a short video. It was taken at the class training instructor's place. He was looking at the puppet illustration handbook, and his focus was mainly on the illustration handbook. There were many types of puppets in the illustration handbook. As long as someone in the world made this kind of puppet, the illustration handbook would light up. At this time, there were about 100 or 200 types of puppets that were lit up. On the pages of the illustration handbook, the number of lit-up icons decreased as the pages went on. In the end, the 50 types of puppets on the page were all empty. Only the puppets on the last 4 or 5 pages of the illustration handbook were still empty. For example, the Sun God puppet, Titan puppet, Behemoth puppet, and so on. These were all puppets that had never appeared in the first level of heaven. After flipping to the last few pages, the marionette stopped and pointed at an illustration handbook on the blank page. The illustration handbook wasn't opened, but there was a description on it. Origin puppet, legend has it that in certain areas where spiritual energy is extremely abundant, it will form an emotionless life form that only has a simple basic consciousness. It is called origin. Because this life form has no emotions, it cannot become a battle pet captured by spirit controllers. However, it is the most natural and excellent puppet. It is just that it is extremely difficult to encounter and obtain. The control of the origin does not require any professional techniques, but it requires a special puppet string to establish a connection between the origin and its master. This kind of puppet thread is called the spirit thread. It is a puppet thread formed from pure spirit energy. You only need a trace of connection to control the puppet. The origin puppet is currently the puppet with the highest compatibility with the spirit channeling cultivation method. After reading these descriptions, the group of people finally believed in the existence of such a puppet. However, no one would believe that a newcomer could obtain such a rare puppet. Split the world, morning, are you sure you have such a puppet? Lu Chen really didn't expect the origin energy to be so rare. In fact, there were no fixed-form nightmare spirits in the world of the Stone Gate. He thought that with some simple manipulation, the puppet master should be able to make similar puppets. But now, he had just said that he had such a puppet, and it was called out by others. Group leader, Orange, there are endless opportunities in Jyotian. You can't say for sure that you can't get good things if your level is low. Marionette, that's true. In fact, some puppet masters also obtained some key parts of rare puppets by chance and made rare puppets. This has nothing to do with level. But if you have it, I really want to see morning. Lu Chen thought for a while. As long as they didn't suspect that he was Lone Mighty or someone with a particularly high level, this group was still useful. It was better than him asking people in front of the grocery store. Morning, Marionette, big brother, where can I get the spirit thread? Marionette, I saw it at the profession master in Firmament City. It needs to be learned. can you take a screenshot for me? Lu Chen knew that he had to take a screenshot, so he agreed. Okay, I'll take a screenshot. Not long after, Lu Chen sent a screenshot of the source. As the radiant source was currently in his bag, it had yet to be released. All he could see was a ball of black light emitting a black mist that gradually grew stronger. It looked like a black heart. Puppet source. After use, you can obtain a complete puppet of the source. The group exploded. A newbie obtaining a piece of equipment that no one else had, this was too sensational. It's really the source. This is unbelievable. Oh my god, I can't believe my eyes. Damn, Morning, your luck is really heaven-defying. What's your level and you've already gotten such a unique puppet? Morning, can you release it for us to see? Morning, I haven't found a suitable puppet thread, so I can't control it. But I understand now. Marionette, thank you, big brother. I'll give it a try. Lu Chen didn't care about the increasing number of people in the group. He went back to the game. Lu Chen couldn't return to the first level of heaven, nor could he go to Holy Gate City to learn. The only way was, mail. Lu Chen thought about it. There were many people who had his email, but the solipsistic only trusted one person, Fengling. He immediately sent an email to Fengling and asked her to send him a spiritual thread skill book. He would reimburse the cost. As soon as the email was sent, Fengling replied. Mad God, are you used to being in the second level of heaven? I'll go to Firmament City now. Wait for me. Not long after, Fengling's email came, and there was an attachment. Mad God, I bought the skill book. I don't know if it's this spiritual thread finger. If it's not, I'll buy it again. Lu Chen took out the attachment and looked at it. It talked about how to use the spiritual thread. He used the skill book and learned spiritual thread finger. Make spiritual thread. Lu Chen discovered that from his 10 fingers, 10 extremely thin threads in the form of spirit bodies floated out. They were swaying slightly, like tentacles. Okay, it should be this. He looked at the selling price of the item. 100 gold coins. This was the selling price. The buying price was 10 times higher. To Win Chim, 1,000 gold coins should be a huge sum of money, but she didn't mention anything about money in the mail. Lu Chen smiled and shook his head. This silly girl wasn't suitable for business. She would lose a lot of money. Lu Chen opened the email and thought about it. He first put in 5,000 gold coins and 4 pieces of purple equipment in the second level of heaven. These equipment avoided the divine martial set. These equipment had no level restrictions. Fengling could use them directly. Finally, he wrote in the email. Thanks. Send me a message when you reach the second level of heaven. You might not be able to level up at the beginning. I'll guide you. Chapter 338. A large number of players were gathered in the novice village. Due to the increase in difficulty, it was very difficult for small teams to level up. Hence, a new phenomenon appeared in the village. Looking for a team to work with. Simple mode requires the ability to kill more than 3 Radiant Moon werewolves at the same time. Cooperate to fight Radiant Moon werewolves. Take turns to distribute the experience and loot. Absolutely trustworthy. A 20-man elite team looking for partners of similar strength. Long term. Looking for 4 teams. There is no limit to the number of people. As long as they are the original team that defeated the Sky Domain boss, the distribution will be based on the principle of rotation. Average level 58 team looking for a team led by leader Heavenly Might. It is best if it is an old team. With leader Heavenly Might, it is best if they have been in Dragon War. We don't want quantity, we want quality. Looking at these shouts, Lu Chen also faintly felt a trace of bitterness. These teams were all teams that had defeated the Sky Domain boss. In the end, they had to work together to fight small monsters outside. The difficulty of the game had increased by 2 levels. These people were indeed bitter in their hearts. The newcomers were miserable, and so were the veterans. Many teams that were originally in high-level maps could not adapt to the increased difficulty of the game and return to the novice village. The leader and vice-leader were desperately shouting. If there were suitable candidates, they would contact the other party for investigation. The normal members were squatting at the side and sighing. Sigh, I didn't expect this. Our team used to stand at the peak of the world. Now, we can't even beat small monsters. The experience and drop rate of wild monsters only increased by 22.5%, but the attributes increased by 4 times. It will be difficult to level up in the future. Sigh, we were originally happy. Suddenly, we were tricked by Solipsistic and the game went back to a few months ago. Right, someone is crowdfunding to kill him. Now the bounty has soared to 3 million gold coins. I wonder if those super experts will make a move. 3 million is still a bit dangerous. The top 5 bounty hunters in the entire server, the Buddha, Demon, God, and Demon bounty masters, start at 10 million gold coins. Sigh, then let's wait for the bounty to slowly increase. To be honest, if I wasn't afraid of not being able to beat him, I would have killed him 101 times. Lu Chen accidentally heard this news and was shocked. He had actually gotten to this point. The players were crowdfunding to kill him. This was attracting the hatred of all the players in the second heaven. This was only the aggro of the early stage players. There were also the normal players. By the time they reached the second heaven, he would probably be the enemy of the entire server. Thinking of the terrifying future, Lu Chen shuddered and quietly left Miayuan village. Looking for a place where there was no one, Lu Chen summoned the source. Let's see how the puppet works. Lu Chen connected the puppet with a spirit thread and used the spirit communication, cultivation technique. The source that was constantly changing like a liquid suddenly condensed into a solid form. Its solid form was just like the shape in Spirit Condensation Mountain. Radix now had a status called Psychic Amplification. Psychic Amplification increases all attributes of the puppet by 40%. Other than this passive attribute buff, Psychic Channeling also had 3 other styles. Just as Psychic Channeling said, observe what you see, act what you do, and think what you think. Spirit Communication, Spirit Fusion, the owner and the puppet can share their vision. The range of effect is limited by the length of the spirit thread. Coincidentally, the spirit thread does not have a length limit. Summon, release, puppets have the ability to fight on their own. Spirit Communication, copy, puppets can imitate their owner's behavior, including their movements, as well as most active cultivation techniques and special effects. These were the effects of the cultivation technique, Psychic Channeling. Lu Chen also wanted to check the attributes of the source. The reason why the source was an extremely powerful puppet was that even if Lu Chen did not learn Psychic Channeling, the source still had strong combat power. After looking at the attributes and skills of the source, Lu Chen believed it. The source was really strong. Otherwise, the one in Spirit Condensation Mountain wouldn't have been able to kill Lu Chen. Talent 1, the more it fights, the stronger it gets. It absorbs the opponent's spiritual attack and strengthens its own spiritual attack. Talent 2, Invasion. Invade non-player life forms with lower spiritual power and obtain their abilities. The targets of invasion include but are not limited to clones, battle pets, puppets. Talent 3, Immortal Body. Immune to physical attacks and poison attacks. The source will not die. When its health is depleted, it will temporarily lose its combat ability and return to the owner's backpack. It will recover after 3 hours. Cultivation Technique, Spiritual Shield. Provides a spiritual shield with a durability value of 1, 8 million. Puppet Skill 1, Protect the Owner. Transfer its own health value and pure spiritual energy to the owner at any time. Puppet Skill 2, Crazy Tearing. Launch 18 consecutive rapid attacks on the enemy. Each attack causes 8% spiritual damage and causes a bleeding effect. Cooldown time is 3 seconds. Puppet Skill 3, Growth. The source puppet does not need to be modified or strengthened. It only needs to level up to strengthen its strength. Weakness, Elemental Attacks. Lu Chen frowned and studied these skills. Although it's not as powerful as the one in Spirit Condensation Mountain, this is just a puppet after all. However, with 1.65 million health points, it should be able to look down on most puppets. Moreover, this guy can actually level up and become stronger. The only skill that provides support. 18 Rapid Tearing can cause a total of 144% spiritual damage. The damage is a bit low. However, is it sure that the cooldown time is 3 seconds? After 18 punches, 3 seconds should have passed by. This skill's damage wasn't high, but the cooldown time was extremely short. Lu Chen even suspected that Source's Tortoise Fist was almost equivalent to having no cooldown. In terms of defense, this guy actually doesn't have a defense attribute. But it doesn't matter. Physical, spiritual, and poison attacks are all ineffective. It's only afraid of elemental and heavenly attacks. Lu Chen thought for a while. I don't have any elemental attacks now, and I don't know where to get them. Lu Chen thought of the Sky Thunder Stone that had been lying in his backpack for a long time. That thing was dropped by Moro Bo Sun. Bo Sun's attacks had obvious attribute characteristics. It was very likely that this stone had additional elemental attacks. Elemental attacks should be a variant of spiritual attacks. It's very likely that it will become the main source of damage in the future. Lu Chen thought for a while and realized that he was a bit off topic. He pulled his thoughts back. Let's talk about that later. Source's other talents and skills are quite useful. His 1.65 million health points can be transferred to me at any time. That's equivalent to my health points increasing by 50%. Not bad, not bad. Without a doubt, Source would become one of Lu Chen's stronger combat forces at the moment. Right, since you are immune to physical and magical attacks. Lu Chen thought for a while. Then aren't you the best meat shield? Let's go to the werewolves' camp first. Let's try to cooperate. It was Lu Chen's first time bringing along a puppet. Although Source could fight autonomously, he still had to train to make it more effective under his control. Perhaps, after 2 weeks, this guy would have a chance to fight. Chapter 339. For the next few days, Lu Chen trained in the werewolf base camp. Puppeteers were known as the pianists of Jiutian. They were extremely difficult to operate. Fortunately, Lu Chen only needed to use his mind to control them. It was much easier than puppeteers who used puppet strings to activate skills. However, even if he used his mind to control them, how to use their shared vision to judge their situation and control both the main body and the puppet at the same time wasn't something that could be mastered overnight. This training lasted for more than 10 days. During these days, Lu Chen almost forgot to eat and sleep when he trained. In fact, the reason why he put in so much effort to learn how to control puppets wasn't just because of the source. Spirit controllers and puppeteers had different approaches to the same goal. After mastering the puppets, it would be easier to work with battle pets in the future. As for the battlefield, Lu Chen had a lot of them. After mastering the more difficult puppets, it wouldn't be difficult to bring divine beast battle pets to fight in the future. 14 days later, Lu Chen finally acted like a professional puppeteer. He controlled the source to move nimbly among the radiant moon werewolves. At the same time, he increased the difficulty of the training and deliberately didn't use invisibility. He also moved quickly among the radiant moon werewolves. There were a lot of werewolves here, and they were huge. Lu Chen couldn't see the source when they were constantly on the move. At such times, he had to use the source's vision to quickly switch between the two visions. Fortunately, he could now work with the source perfectly. Okay, I've avoided most of the attacks in 20 minutes. This result is good enough. Lu Chen nodded in satisfaction. Now, I feel like the source is really working for me. Although polishing techniques didn't bring about an increase in attributes, the improvement of techniques was also a kind of improvement in strength, and it was the most fundamental improvement. Source, invade. Lu Chen ordered, and the source wrapped a radiant moon werewolf in mist form. Today is the day I fulfill my promise. Source, let's go. Lu Chen put away the source and flew away with invisibility, leaving the werewolf base camp. Looking back at this place, Lu Chen actually felt a little nostalgic. This place is really the best place to practice techniques. No one will disturb me. It's difficult but not fatal. I can even drop equipment. It's so comfortable. Second Heaven Level 60 Main City, Holy Gate City. The Holy Gate could be said to be the strongest guild in the Second Heaven. Usually, the 16 city gates of Sacred Gate City would be filled with people and carriages at all times. Usually, all kinds of mounts would fly across the sky above the Holy Gate City. Beast tamers, spirit exorcists, and battle pets of exorcists, puppets of puppeteers, all of which added to the mystical atmosphere of the Holy Gate City. However, the roads leading to the various city gates of the Sacred Gate City were exceptionally quiet today. On top of the various city walls, the surrounding wilderness was already filled with people. Do you think that guy will come? It would be weird if he came back. Did you see the Saint Gates formation? It's so scary. I heard that the Saint Gate has invited a few experts to help out. Is that true? I know, they hired a few experts from the Bounty Association and the Mercenary Association. After all, that guy defeated Traceless. He's still quite strong. There should be tens of thousands of people guarding the Saint Gate now. That guy is said to be alone. If I were him, I would have run away after seeing the situation here from afar. On the main city wall of the northern gate stood a few people. The person in the lead was the emblem of the Saint Gate, Ling Tian. On his right was an extremely beautiful lady. Many people knew her. Right sage, Luo Shui. Left sage, Traceless, was also there. However, he was no longer qualified to stand in the first row. The four Saint Hall Masters stood beside Luo Shui. On Ling Tian's left were a few unfamiliar faces. At this moment, a man in blue clothes beside Ling Tian opened the folding fan in his hand and said leisurely, "He dares to challenge the entire Holy Gate City alone. That guy is the most arrogant person I have ever seen." Beside him, an old man in his 50s laughed and said, "Actually, this isn't anything new. In the first heaven, everyone has more or less won against more people. It's just that that guy got the wrong target. This isn't the first heaven, but the second heaven." On the other side, a tall man who was about 2 meters tall said disdainfully, "If he dares to come today, we'll make sure he won't be able to leave the Holy Gate City." At this moment, the 5 people from the Wood Mansion were also mixed in with the crowd. Before this, they already knew that Lu Chen had defeated Traceless. There was no need to mention how shocked the 5 of them were at that time. It turned out that that guy didn't want to leave the equipment with them and make a comeback. He just wanted to distribute the equipment normally. In the end, the 5 of them all ran away. It felt like they had absconded with a huge sum of money. Xiao Tian asked Jiu softly, "Jiu why didn't that guy come looking for you? Did he not want his equipment?" Jiu shook her head, "I don't know. I sent him a few emails, but he didn't reply." What Jiu didn't know was that not replying to emails was actually Lu Chen's tradition. His mailbox was always filled with 999 plus unread emails. I wanted to give him the equipment. Who knew that he would take the initiative to come to the Holy Gate City this time? Xiao Tian also sighed, he probably wants to end this matter and win the Holy Gate City. It feels impossible. Wan Er also said, absolutely impossible. How much does the Holy Gate City earn in a day? Since Ling Tian and the others took over a level 60 main city, they have been entrenched here for more than a month. It's getting more and more unshakable. Chi nodded and said, yes, I heard that the middle management of the Holy Gate City ate pills that cost a few gold coins as if they were eating jelly beans. It's very extravagant. They seem to have started talking about Long Zhanya's dungeon. Xiao Tian shook his head, actually, I'd like to make friends with that kid. I hope that Ling Tian and the others won't be too ruthless. At this moment, a figure appeared at the end of the road in the distance. This person walked slowly towards the Grand Holy Gate City. There was no lack of unhappiness, but each step was steady and firm. He was dressed in a red robe that was eye-catching. His appearance was calm and natural, and he was unperturbed. The wishful long staff in his hand was casually twirling around his spear as if he was playing with it casually to pass the time. The heavily guarded Holy Gate City, countless players, powerhouses, battle pets, puppets. In his eyes, it was as if they did not exist. When she saw this person appear, Jiu Er's heartbeat suddenly accelerated. From the first time she saw him fight, she thought that he was a madman. Later on, she witnessed the impossible again and again. After that, she had a small interaction between them. Jiu Er's position had changed from being completely neutral to leaning towards Lu Chen's side. When she saw this man casually walking in front of countless powerhouses, a strange feeling arose in Jiu Er's heart. It was as if he was a fearless hero. This guy. He's a little handsome. Wan Er suddenly said what Jiu Er wanted to say at this time. 8 Gate said with jealousy, we haven't seen each other for a few days. Where did he get this outfit? The color is so flashy. Not long after, Lu Chen stood in front of the Holy Gate's north gate that was more than 30 meters tall and leaned the wishful long staff on the ground. He let out a long sigh, they're going to massacre the city again. Chapter 340. Lu Chen didn't know why fate was playing tricks on him. He just wanted to make a little money, but now he had to massacre the city. The main character had arrived, and the entire Holy Gate City began to stir. It was worth mentioning that the Holy Gate required those who entered the city to join the Holy Gate temporarily. Therefore, almost everyone here was a disciple of the Holy Gate. He's really here. Does he want to die? I must get the credit. I'll depend on him to make a name for myself. It's good that he's here. How can he look down on our Holy Gate? Today, the city lord is here in person with many strong men. He can't escape. How dare he provoke our Holy Gate? We'll torture him to death today. In the face of these vicious words, Lu Chen didn't care. He was used to it anyway. Hey, stop chattering. If you want to fight, come down and fight. Lu Chen rubbed his neck. Damn, does this city gate have to be so high? It's tiring to talk with my head up. You're asking for death. Ling Tian shouted and then ordered his men, open the city gate. The city gate opened, and the players standing on the tower jumped down and lined up to play chess with Lu Chen. Ling Tian stood at the front of the team, surrounded by strong men. He looked at Lu Chen like a tiger eyeing its prey. Kid, I didn't expect you to be so brave. Aren't you arrogant? Don't worry, we won't let you down today. We'll treat you well. Lu Chen smiled and gently kicked the end of the wishful staff. Using the rebound force, he put the staff on his shoulder. All day long, you send people to duel me, assassinate me, and offer bounties. Aren't you guys annoying? Can't you be more direct? Forget it. Since I'm here, there won't be so much trouble if the Holy Gate doesn't exist. Ling Tian slowly narrowed his eyes. You want to flatten our Holy Gate? you talk big. I'll beat you back to the first level today. The old man standing beside Ling Tian looked at Lu Chen and shook his head. Young man, your problem is that you're too flashy. I've seen many talented people, but in the end, how many can reach the top? It's because young people are impetuous and like to stir up trouble. In the end, only death awaits. Lu Chen coldly snorted. The old man's words seemed reasonable, but in fact, he knew nothing about Lu Chen. You said that I like to stir up trouble. If it wasn't for the fact that you guys from the Saint Gate provoked me first, I wouldn't have bothered with you guys. Showing off too much? You speak as if you know how capable I am. The old man's eyes were filled with murderous intent. Unrepentant. You really deserve to be killed. Fine, I'll teach you a lesson in front of your parents today. Lu Chen's expression immediately turned cold. There was always someone who spoke without thinking, touching his reverse scale. Traceless was no longer qualified to stand in the front row. He would probably be demoted in the future. Naturally, he hated Lu Chen the most. He shouted from behind, he's just a bastard who doesn't have a mother to teach him. I can see it now. You can't expect a person who can do such a brainless thing to have a good upbringing. I guess his parents never taught him how to be humble when he was young. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. It was rare for him to be so serious. He was here to deal with the Saint Gate today, but it was just a massacre in the city to teach them a lesson. But now, each and every one of them was scolding him. They even picked his sensitive parents to scold. He was angry. In the distance, Xiao Tian frowned slightly. He had noticed Lu Chen's expression. He had never seen him so fierce before. It was the same last time. When Taizhan scolded his parents, he got angry easily. Qi frowned. Under normal circumstances, the more you care about something, the angrier you get. Could it be that he really, suddenly spoke, don't say any more. We're in Zhoutian. Strength speaks louder than words. A hero's background doesn't matter. I don't care about his family background. At least the strength he has shown now is worthy of our respect. Wan nodded. Many people say that he's cruel. Actually, think about it carefully. He has never taken the initiative to humiliate others, except for that time when we were wiped out. I feel that he's actually quite easygoing. Jiu nodded. That's right. Lu Chen gave her such a feeling. He could chat casually with ordinary players without any arrogance. He also wouldn't bully the weak for no reason. All along, it was others who were looking for trouble with him. Sigh, what a pity. He's just so unyielding. Why did he come? If I were him, I definitely wouldn't come to Saint Gate City. There are so many experts here. In the second heaven domain, perhaps the only ones who really wanted Lu Chen to win were these few people from the Wood Mansion. In the arena, Ling Tian shouted loudly. Kid, don't be so secretive. I, Ling Tian, won't fight with nameless people. Show me your ID. Lu Chen snorted. You want to see my ID? You're not qualified. Whether you want to fight with me or not, it's not up to you to decide. Arrogant. Then I'll make you a nameless ghost. Everyone, get ready. Kill them. With the word kill, an unprecedented battle began. 100,000 experts surged toward the red figure like a surging tide. Some were on foot, some were on mounts, and there were all kinds of battle pets and puppets. The whole scene was spectacular. The 5 people from the Wood Mansion had their hearts in their throats. Just looking at this formation was terrifying enough. Just imagine how horrifying it would be if 100,000 people were charging at a single person. However, in the arena, Lu Chen's lips curled up slightly. Very good, source. It's time for us to show off our skills. Summon the spirit. Lu Chen summoned source. At this moment, it was in the form of a different radiant moon werewolf. So that guy is a puppet master. However, he can't be so naive as to think that a puppet can help him block the 100,000 strong army, right? Lu Chen snorted. War God possession. Demon transformation. Doppelganger. Demon King consciousness, refresh. Doppelganger. As soon as the 12 doppelganger appeared, 10 of them suddenly doppelganger again. In addition to Lu Chen's doppelganger, there were a total of 35 doppelganger. Kill. At the order, all the doppelganger rushed into the crowd. Lightless sky flame pillar. Black coffin dead zone. Lu Chen continued to launch skills. Blood sacrifice shield. Earth chasm. If it was one-on-one, it would be a piece of cake for these experts to avoid the earth chasm. However, the problem was that there was such a large group of people, and the gap was extremely small. When Lu Chen's rod came down, it instantly smashed a lot of people. You like to show off your mount in front of me, right? Nine-winged, come out. Lu Chen growled, and a nine-winged sky dragon suddenly appeared. Even in the second-level heaven, no one had a nine-winged sky dragon. After all, the fusion conditions of the nine-winged sky dragon were too harsh. Defeating all the bosses in the forbidden land of divine pets in an hour was definitely not something that ordinary people could do. Moreover, many people didn't even find the divine pet dungeon at all. As soon as the nine-winged sky dragon appeared, countless mounts around suddenly whined and were all forced to land and bow to the ground. Damn, what kind of mount is that? I've never seen such a powerful mount. What, my mount actually wants to bow to his mount. It's the pressure of a mount. Fuck, could this be a dark gold grade mount? Impossible, there hasn't been a dark gold mount at all. Why does this guy have so many skills? Isn't he a puppet master? Why is he so strong in close combat? Countless people's brains had short-circuited. Jiu took a deep breath. This time, perhaps she could finally see this guy's true strength. Chapter 341. The nine-winged dragon's existence was not only to force others off their mounts, but it was also an extremely strong AoE attack pet. The nine-winged dragon's damage was related to Lu Chen's attributes. Now that Lu Chen's attributes were so crazy, the nine-winged dragon's damage was more than 4 times. Flame breath. The nine-winged dragon swooped down, opened its mouth, and spat out a large amount of flames, igniting the entire battlefield. Tiger roar, spiritual sword rain. Great Ravager sweep. The clones started a massacre at the front. Minus 330,000, double critical hit. One of the clones split, and after that, a large number of players' HP dropped by a large amount. Damn, what kind of clone is this? Such high damage. How can it split? As far as I know, there's only one way to split, and that's through the bloodline of a divine beast. He has the divine beast chaos. Not just the divine beast chaos. Another clone's multiple damage caused a stun. No, he also has Wuji. No, he also has Qiong Qi, Tao Tai. The 4 passive skills were immediately seen through by these players, but after thinking for a bit, they felt that something was wrong. This guy had gathered all 4 cubs of the divine beasts. Lu Chen sent out a stream of sword chi from behind. This sword aura dealt more than 260,000 damage, and it swept across a large number of players. Under the combined attacks of the clones, Flame Breath, Spiritual Sword Rain, Great Ravager Sweep, and the clones, many people fell into a pool of blood before they could react. But that wasn't the end. What was even more inconceivable was his puppet. Damn, he's immune to physical attacks, using spiritual attacks. The spiritual attacks are being absorbed, and his attacks seem to be getting stronger. Poison Master, use poison. No, we've already tried, he's immune to poison. The group of people was stunned. Physical, spiritual, and poison attacks were all ineffective, and that guy was hit by a large number of spiritual attacks. From the weakest one at the beginning, he became the most terrifying existence. Damn, is there a normal thing under this guy's hands? How do we fight? It's invincible. When Ling Tian and the other experts saw their subordinates being beaten up by the clones, puppets, and even mounts, their faces changed. He has too many tricks up his sleeves. He has at least 10 cultivation methods and many of them are new to me. Wu Hen, didn't you say that he only has 12 clones at most? Ling Tian questioned Wu Hen unhappily. Traceless frowned. He really only has 12 doppelgangers. He has never used this 35 doppelgangers before. Ling Tian was so angry that his entire body trembled. It doesn't matter if it's a clone or not, just kill the main body, Luo Shui. The lady beside Ling Tian nodded her head, and with a flash, she appeared at the front lines of the battlefield, shouting loudly. To catch bandits, first catch the ringleader. Use displacement to kill the main body. After Luo Shui finished speaking, she stood in the middle of the player army and opened her arms. Rain from the heavens. All the Saint Gates players who had lost their HP within a large area recovered their HP rapidly. Lu Chen frowned as he looked at the woman in the crowd. This woman was most likely the Holy Gates right sage, Holy Maiden Luo Shui. Unlike the powerful left sage Wu Hen, Holy Maiden Luo Shui was a pharmacist, and her healing ability was extremely powerful. To a team, damage output and healing were equally important. Thus, even if Luo Shui's PvP ability wasn't very strong, her position was still unshakable. The appearance of the Holy Maiden was like a calming pill, calming down the flustered Saint Gates players. At the beginning, Lu Chen had caught everyone off guard. However, after some of them calmed down, they also displayed a strength that was completely different from the players at the first celestial stage. A large number of players used displacement skills to break through the doppelgangers and various AoE skills, trying to get close to Lu Chen. However, when they tried to get close to Lu Chen, they suddenly realized that the closer they got to him, the more terrifying his surroundings were under the double protection of the lightless heavenly flame pillar and black coffin dead zone. Boom boom boom, a large number of heavenly flame pillars automatically attacked. Fuck, what kind of divine damage is this? It's the lightless heavenly flame pillar. This guy's heavenly flame pillar is different from ordinary heavenly flame pillars. It's extremely difficult to detect. The lightless heavenly flame pillar is still fine, but what's the meaning of his HP continuously dropping the moment he enters the area? Black coffin dead zone. What kind of debuff is this? This time, Lu Chen chose the black coffin dead zone to continuously drop his HP. After all, there were too many people. He wanted to choose a one-time burst. Although the damage was high, and it was even harder to detect, there were too many people here. He didn't have the time to activate the dead zone one by one. At the same time that Lu Chen dealt a large amount of damage, a large number of players also launched long-range attacks, attacking Lu Chen. There were so many skills that they couldn't see clearly, and they couldn't differentiate between them. The predicted landing points of their skills were practically linked together. Rapid movement. Great Ravager, continue. Lu Chen coldly snorted. While moving at high speed, he rapidly changed his position, making it difficult for the enemy to predict his position. At the same time, he was also madly using Great Ravager. Originally, the battlefield was already crowded, and it was already very difficult to dodge the skills. Moreover, now that the opponent was moving at high speed, it was even harder to detect his skills. In an instant, the field in front of Saint Gates City was littered with corpses, and blood flowed like a river. This is too scary. This fellow has too many skills. Moreover, his skills damage is so high. 7 Feet said in shock. Yeah, and it's really hard to determine what class he is. Whether it's close combat or ranged combat, he doesn't seem to have any shortcomings, Warner praised. Xiao Tian's brows were tightly knitted. He was already shocked by the rare scene before him. That combo and high chance of critical hit are too fierce. Just what is his critical hit chance? Aren't they triggering too frequently? Ling Tian never dreamed that his army of 100,000 would still fail to kill that fellow after fighting for 2 minutes. Not only that, but the battlefield was also becoming more and more chaotic, and they were gradually losing control. This won't do. We can't let that brat continue to be arrogant. Ling Tian said with a frown. Although almost everyone here was from the Holy Gate, in reality, other than the core members of the Holy Gate, the rest of the Holy Gate City members had been forcefully roped in under the condition of entering Saint Gate City. If too many of these players died, a bunch of equipment would drop. At that time, he alone wouldn't be able to compensate for the loss of so much equipment. If they fought for the Holy Gate, the players would have to pay for the losses out of their own pockets. He believed that the middle and low-level members of the Holy Gate would definitely be unhappy. Ling Tian snorted and said to Meng Nan, the old man, and the man in blue beside him, the three of you, it's time for us to make a move. No problem. The three of them were already prepared to make a move. The four super experts flashed at the same time and arrived at the center of the battlefield. They quietly stood behind Lu Chen. Lu Chen was having a good time killing when suddenly, many people shouted from behind him. Combination skill, earthquaking. Almost at the same time, the dark eyes of the gods quickly gave an astonishing range of effect. It almost covered the entire area in front of Saint Gate City. With Lu Chen's keen observation, he quickly deduced that this skill wasn't simple. It was very likely to be a killing move. Turning back, Lu Chen saw that it was indeed Ling Tian and the others who had made a move. Who knew that what the four experts waited for wasn't Lu Chen's shock? Instead, he smiled and said calmly, "Very good. I've been waiting for you guys. 8 desolations of heaven and earth." Chapter 342. The four of them unleashed a rare combination skill, causing the sky to change color and the earth to shake. However, Lu Chen didn't care and countered with his 8 desolation heaven and earth. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth instantly reached its peak. The entire Holy Gate Mountain instantly turned white. Under the strong light, no one could look at it directly. On the other hand, Lu Chen's doppelganger and Origin continued to fight. The surrounding players had to turn their heads to avoid the strong light. Oh my god, is this a fight between gods? What kind of skills are these? Is it the Heaven's Wrath skill? Is the Heaven's Wrath skill that strong? That's too scary. How can their damage be so crazy? Their levels can't be higher than ours. Where did they get such a scary skill from? Traceless Sword was completely dumbfounded. This guy has such a scary skill. That means that he didn't use his full strength when he was fighting with me. Traceless Blade's heart trembled as he thought of this. This guy. Who is he? Obviously, the combination skill of the four of them was extremely rare. After playing Jiutian for so long, Lu Chen had never heard of the existence of a combination skill. Of course, his 8 desolation heaven and earth was not to be trifled with. In addition to his own attributes, Lu Chen had no reason to be afraid of them. The strong light flashed and everyone's vision gradually became clear. However, when they could see the blurry image, they were even more shocked. The 5 of them were unscathed. How is this possible? The energy that they unleashed just now was probably more than 10 million. That's not right. How can such strong people not have life-saving skills? They might have activated their life-saving skills. But in that collision just now, who won and who lost? I think only they know. At this time, people gradually realized that the 5 strongest people in this city massacre battle were likely to determine the final result of the normal competition. Interestingly, many of the Holy Gate's members had mixed feelings. Many of the people here were once all-powerful characters in the first heaven. However, after just 1 month in the second heaven, they, who were once the absolute protagonists of their respective worlds, had shockingly become the pathetic background of the battle between the strong. Sigh, I thought I was the main character of Jiutian. Now I know that I'm just a side character. I can't participate in a battle of this level. A player sighed. Even someone like Traceless is going to become a supporting character, let alone us. Solipsistic changed the entire situation of the second heaven, and this guy let us know that there are still people who can adapt to this difficulty. I feel that ever since the two newcomers arrived in the second heaven, this guy and Solipsistic, the entire second heaven has been turned upside down. Lu Chen looked indifferently at the 4 people in front of him. These 4 people actually didn't die. He had just received a huge amount of damage, over 6 million. His blood sacrifice shield had been broken, but Xiao Min had blocked the fatal blow for him. However, Lu Chen was very sure that his 8 desolations heaven and earth could definitely kill Ling Tian instantly. However, Ling Tian didn't die. It seemed that Ling Tian also had a way to save his life. Kid. Ling Tian raised his head and looked at Lu Chen with a smile that didn't look like a smile. No wonder you were so arrogant. It turns out that you have 2 sets of earth-grade cultivation techniques. But what surprised me was that the combination technique didn't take your life. I'm not afraid to tell a dying person that in the world where the 4 of us are in, the first heaven is already the difficult level. When Lu Chen heard this, he was indeed shocked. Were there places in the first heaven that could increase the difficulty of the game? He didn't find any. Alright, according to Jiutian's imagination, it was normal that there were places that he didn't explore. Moreover, in reality, every first heaven was different. Who knew what kind of opportunities they could find? Lu Chen said indifferently, after the first heaven's difficulty increased, you should have a chance to obtain better equipment and cultivation techniques. No wonder you could sit on the position of the St. Gates president. Ling Tian smiled slightly. That's not true. However, our heaven domain boss dropped 3 sets of earth-grade cultivation techniques. Lu Chen immediately calculated in his heart. Something like the combination technique was very likely to be an earth-grade cultivation technique. In addition, Ling Tian's perfect defense against the 8 desolations heaven and earth could also be some kind of defensive earth-grade cultivation technique. In addition, this guy had at least one other earth-grade cultivation technique. The number of earth-grade cultivation techniques this guy had was actually the same as Lu Chen's. Lu Chen had the triple gate, and although the 8 desolations heaven and earth was an equipment special effect, its power could definitely be counted as an earth-grade cultivation technique. The other one was the earth-grade cultivation technique, 3000 body flickering slash. However, it was obtained from the second heaven. Ling Tian was still calm and composed. This was the unique temperament of an expert. Even when facing a strong enemy, he could still maintain full confidence. When you blocked the earth-quaking mountain just now, I already saw your status. At that time, you activated a battle pet's ability to protect its master. However, from the looks of the cooldown time, you don't seem to be able to withstand my next attack. The 3 people beside Ling Tian had the same expression on their faces as Lu Chen's victory was in their hands. Leader, let's end this quickly. I still have to go back and train. That's right. Boss, the second heaven is now in the hard mode. I quite like this mode. Who knows, we might be able to get better equipment. Stop talking nonsense. Kill him in 1 hit. Ling Tian shook his head and complained, hey, you guys. I'm paying on time. Can't you guys play with me more? Play with you? You have the Holy Gate City as a money tree. We all have to work hard to earn money. You're talking as if I don't give you guys any resources. After coming from the first heaven domain, the 3 of you have really changed. The 4 of them teased as if no one else was around. Only now did Lu Chen know that the 4 of them had always been a team. It was just that they had temporarily been busy with their own things after arriving at the second heaven. However, the four of them should be super strong in their own fields. If that was the case, one could imagine how strong the four of them were back then. Lu Chen shook his head. He really didn't expect that he would be forced to use his strongest move when he had just arrived at the Holy Gate City. Look, he seems to be discouraged. That's normal. Who wouldn't die if they met the four of us? Come on, come on. Let's get rid of this trash quickly. I still have a mission with a 10 million level reward. The four of them cursed, but then their expressions became serious. Heavenly Might Combination. In an instant, the four of them emitted a golden light and rose into the air. The golden light was dazzling, like the yellow sun in the sky. In front of the four of us, you're worse than trash. Heavenly Might Combination Technique. Have you seen it before? Ha ha ha, I'm sorry. All your low-grade Earth rank skills are useless in front of this move. You're just a mortal. How can you fight with a god? Prepare the combination technique, Sunshine Shine. When Xiao Tian saw this scene, he sucked in a breath of cold air. These guys, it's another combination skill. It's a Heavenly Might combination technique. Isn't this power close to a mid-grade Earth rank skill? Jiu was so nervous that she even forgot to breathe. Could that person survive? If not, then what awaited him would be a punishment crueler than death. If he could, then he would be a miracle. On the ground, Lu Chen took a deep breath, put away the wishful staff, and held the devil blade in his hand. Stepping on the Qian and Kuan palaces, he leaned forward slightly with his hand on the hilt. He calmly uttered a sentence. Who said that a mortal can't kill a god? Sorry, the four of you are already dead. Chapter 343. The four of them were like the sun in the sky, shining brightly. Wherever the light touched, it was directed by the skill. Heaven's Might Combination Skill, Sunlight Illumination. Lu Chen narrowed his eyes and spat out four words, 7 stars chasing the moon. A red figure rushed towards the place where the sunlight was the brightest. Jiu covered her mouth. Any normal person would know that that was the place where the sunlight illumination dealt the most damage. However, that guy actually rushed towards the center of the sun. You're looking for death, you're like a moth to the fire. After 0.7 seconds of invincibility, you're dead for sure. However, no one could stop Lu Chen. This was the first time that people saw a true seamless combination of skills. In the 0.7 second process, there was no gap at all. 7 stars chasing the moon moved forward by 100 meters. In the blink of an eye, he was already in front of the four people. 3,000 body flicker slash. Lu Chen shouted, leaving behind an afterimage as he went invisible. Of course, it didn't matter whether he was invisible or not, because from the moment the skill was activated, the opponent was already in the attack range, and the real body had already seamlessly connected with the special effects. At this moment, people could only see that the red-clothed man in the center of the sun was standing there, unharmed. 3,000 body flicker slash would leave behind an illusion. It was important to note that what was left behind was an illusion and not a doppelganger. The illusion was only a visual effect, so it naturally wouldn't take any damage. How can, there's no damage? Everyone was shocked. However, just as they said there was no damage, the damage immediately came. However, it wasn't Lu Chen who took damage, but the four people who used the combination skill. A large number of damage values appeared above the four people's heads. -670,000, double critical hit, -1.04 million, poisoned. The old man was the first to be killed. -1.07 million, triple critical hit, the elegant man was the second to be killed by a triple critical hit. -650,000, double critical hit, -1.0 4 million, poisoned. The brawny man was killed by the third attack without any suspense. 3,000 body flicker slash, a total of 11 attacks. The first 3 attacks instantly killed 3 people, and the remaining 8 were left to Lu Chen to Ling Tian. Ling Tian didn't even see Lu Chen's shadow from the start, as damage values continued to appear above his head. Block, 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 block. After blocking a total of 9 attacks, Ling Tian finally couldn't hold on any longer. Minus 560,000, double critical hit, minus 770,000, poisoned, minus 770,000, poisoned. It had to be said that Ling Tian's stats were indeed quite overpowered. His double critical hit only dealt 500,000 damage, and a portion of the poisoned was also negated, so he only dealt 700,000 damage. He had over 1,500,000 HP, which was why he was poisoned twice before dying. No, that's impossible. How could you possibly break my indestructible divine body? After losing the target, the illusion disappeared, and Lu Chen's real body finally reappeared not far away. Sheathing his saber, Lu Chen turned his back to the 4 self-proclaimed gods, and snorted. That's it. God. Humph, the 4 super powerhouses had all fallen in the blink of an eye. At this moment, the doppelgangers were all killed. Time was up. Nine-Wing's spiritual energy was severely depleted, and he returned to Lu Chen's side to rest for a short while. Only Source was still fighting, but he was quickly summoned back by Lu Chen. Less than 70,000 remained of the 100,000 strong army. They were finally liberated, and now was the best time for them to encircle and annihilate that guy in one go. However, the whole place was strangely quiet. In the distance, the red-clothed man stood there indifferently. There was no fear in his eyes, and his expression was calm. He looked at the tens of thousands of troops that were no longer restrained by his doppelgangers, as if they were nothing. Beside him, the mighty 9-winged celestial dragon stood on one side, and on the other side, that strange puppet that was immune to magic was expressionless, making people feel terrified. One man, one dragon, one puppet, they were invincible. However, the one who really made people not dare to take a step forward was still that red-clothed man. For corpses lay at his feet. And he, after the battle just now, had full HP. Oh my God, am I dreaming? Why is there such a strong person? Oh my God. Killing 4 super strong people in an instant, I can't believe it. What's going on with the 3,000 body flicker slash that he used just now? I still don't understand. How did Ling Tian and the rest die? The 3,000 body flicker slash was very confusing. Leaving behind a doppelganger, and the main body was invisible to attack. At first glance, it was hard for people to imagine why Ling Tian and the other 3 were suddenly attacked. Especially after the last target was killed, the illusion disappeared, and the real body appeared. Under the perfect combination, people didn't even know that the one standing there was just an illusion all along. The most important thing was that Ling Tian and the rest had already used heaven's might, but that guy still fought with the body of a mortal. If not for the overwhelming strength, it wouldn't be like this. Facing such a terrifying monster beyond imagination, no one in the 70,000-strong army dared to take half a step forward. In the distance, Ba Men let out a long sigh. This guy. Too terrifying. I'm convinced, I can't compare to him for now. Wan Er's eyes were full of worship. He's too cool, killing the 4 city lords of the Sacred Gate in an instant, and suppressing 100,000 people by himself. It's really not good, I feel a little moved. Heroes loved beauties, and beauties loved heroes too. However, Wan Er wasn't the only one who was moved. Jiu Er's heart was beating very fast. She had enough of this guy. To what extent was he hiding his strength? He was obviously so powerful. Wait, actually, he didn't seem to be hiding his strength. It was just that those small fries in the past weren't worth his full strength. If he really wanted to hide his strength, he probably wouldn't have clashed with the sacred gate, let alone come to massacre the city alone. All along, the so-called hidden strength was just their misconception. They always thought that this guy had tried his best every time, so they were so shocked when he exploded with stronger combat strength. In this battle, that arrogant red figure had unknowingly left a mark in Jiu Er's heart. Lu Chen looked at the 70,000 people opposite him and said calmly, "I know the rules of the sacred gate. Those who find trouble with me have always been the management of the sacred gate. As for you guys, if you still want to fight, I'll accompany you. If you guys give up now, I can let you guys go. Actually, I've always been easy to get along with." Lu Chen now had to work hard to change the impression in the hearts of the ordinary players. There wasn't even anyone to talk to. This game was too difficult to play. I'm such a good person, how did I end up in this state? No, Lu Chen had to work hard to rebuild his character. However, his words had a different meaning in other people's ears. He was like a cruel monarch, purposely showing his benevolent side in order to win people's hearts. Don't think that we're 3-year-old children. With your cruelty, you'll definitely not let us off. Don't think that we didn't hear you say that you wanted to massacre the city from the start. At most, I'll die. I'll fight it out with you. Lu Chen's frown deepened. What's the meaning of this? My character can't be changed. Damn it, why do you have to be like this? Can't we just play the game properly? I was just saying that. Why do you guys have to take it seriously? Don't talk nonsense with him. He's definitely running out of spiritual energy. Let's exhaust him to death. Someone shouted. Lu Chen shook his head. It seemed that he had to prove something. Who said that I've run out of spiritual energy? Sigh, I still have a few 100,000 left. Forget it, I'll show it to you guys. Spiritual energy storm. Strong winds suddenly blew in the surroundings, and countless spiritual energy turned into thin threads that surged toward Lu Chen. Chapter 344. Spiritual energy storm was the special effect of the Mukan Pearl. It could temporarily increase spiritual energy by 1,000 points. At the same time, it could replenish the spiritual energy in the elixir. It couldn't be used to increase the level of the elixir, but it was still very useful. Just like now, when people saw the situation, they could already guess that this guy had replenished a large amount of spiritual energy. Damn, this guy. How many skills does he have? How can we fight like this? Forget it, I give up. I can't beat this guy. Let's give up. No matter if this guy is good or bad, there's no need for us to sacrifice our lives for the Holy Gate. More and more people kept their weapons. This sentiment spread quickly, and the 70,000-strong army finally stopped. Lu Chen smiled and put away Nine-Winged and Source at the same time. There was no point in killing these players. His level was too far away from theirs, and they weren't bounty hunters. It would be hard for them to drop equipment. If he could save trouble, he would save his energy. After the fight, he believed that the Holy Gate wouldn't find trouble with him anymore. Lu Chen could also train in peace. Hey! That! Suddenly, someone in the enemy army called out to Lu Chen. Lu Chen turned around curiously. Can you remove the Holy Gate's jurisdiction over the Holy Gate city? It's really annoying to have to pay tribute every day. A player's suggestion resonated with the others. Yeah, the game's difficulty is so high now. We can't afford the membership fees anymore. Many people are stuck in the novice village. What can they use to pay the membership fees? If they don't pay, they won't be able to learn the skills to buy things. If they pay, they won't be able to afford it. It's simply a vicious cycle. Lu Chen suddenly found a good opportunity to change his image. He thought about it and felt that this rule of the Holy Gate was really disgusting. It didn't matter if you controlled the main city or attracted newcomers. However, using such a disguised coercive method to force many teams to submit to the Holy Gate was really despicable. Thinking of this, Lu Chen flew directly to the main city's city management office and changed the main city's ownership to the Frenzy Wave Guild. The Holy Gate city's ownership has been changed. It currently belongs to the Frenzy Wave Guild. The main city will be renamed Freedom City. The Frenzy Wave Guild has changed the main city's rules. The restrictions on all resources in the city will be lifted. If you have any objections to this change, please defeat the city lord as soon as possible and occupy the city management office. Once the news was out, most of the players cheered. Holy Gate City has become a free city. Fuck, the Saint Gate has finally fallen. Huh, that's great. I won't have to be threatened by the Saint Gate anymore. Freedom City. We're free. Ling Tian and the others might have some ideas. After settling these matters, Lu Chen left Holy Gate City. To be precise, it should now be called Freedom City. Unfortunately, Lu Chen left on 9 Wing. With 9 Wing around, the other mounts couldn't fly. Jiao anxiously looked at the departing figure, but she couldn't catch up to him. This guy, why does he have such a domineering mount? Jiao said angrily. If you're so domineering, be careful you don't have any friends. Humph. Speaking of which, Lu Chen always felt that other players misunderstood him, thinking that he was cold and aloof, but this was not without reason. When he used his mount, no one else around him could use it. This was too overbearing. Lu Chen finally had an answer. He didn't care if Ling Tian and the others would seek revenge on him. Anyway, if they came, he would just kill them. Finally, I can properly level up. Lu Chen stood on 9 Wings' head and looked down at the ground. Speaking of which, I haven't even explored the novice village map. There are too many opportunities in Jiutian, so I'd better explore as much as possible. Lu Chen was a little impatient, but he didn't want to miss any opportunities. In a compromise, he kept 9 Wing and explored the map quickly in rapid flight mode. Rapid flight can increase the flying speed by up to 6 times, but even so, it still took Lu Chen more than 10 hours to finally complete the map of Nya Yuan village. There's nothing to gain, there should be more than one novice village in the second heaven. If every one of them is this big, my goodness, how big would this map be? Forget it, let's go to the level 60 map and run around. Oh right, I heard someone say that there's a difficult instance dungeon in the level 60 map. If the difficulty is increased by 4 times, maybe it'll drop some good stuff. Lu Chen's current equipment was too poor. For example, Earth-splitting chasm used to be very useful and was one of Lu Chen's favorite skills. However, it was difficult to hit people with such skills now. The people here had high skill levels, so they did need some high-level equipment. After that, Lu Chen set off toward Janya Dragon. Now, many players had returned to the novice village. However, Janya Dragon didn't see a single person after a long time. There were only some bustling monsters leisurely wandering around the map. Damn, the monsters in the level 60 map are already so big. They're even bigger than the bosses in the level 1 dungeon. Lu Chen couldn't help but think. If the improvement in the second heaven was already so huge, then, what would happen in the third heaven, fourth heaven, or even ninth heaven? What would it be like? I wonder when I can go to the third heaven. Lu Chen thought and suddenly remembered his quest in the second heaven. Quest, Sanctimonious, kill Master Spiritual Martial Apothecary. Lu Yi said that guy was already a top-tier boss in the second heaven. One must know that this guy was also a boss and belonged to the monsters. So, the difficulty of the hard mode should be increased greatly for him. It seemed that if he encountered that guy in the future, it would be a fierce battle. Janya Dragon's instance dungeon was not difficult to find. The cave entrance alone was more than 30 meters high. Anyone who wasn't blind could find it. As Lu Chen was thinking, he found the entrance to the instance dungeon. I'm here. Hope there's something good. Lu Chen touched the instance dungeon's door and received the instance dungeon's information. Instance dungeon, door of life and death, party instance dungeon. After the instance dungeon's name came out, two options appeared in front of Lu Chen. They were door of life and death, and door of life and death. Please select the instance dungeon you wish to enter. Note, once selected, you can only enter this instance dungeon. Damn, what's going on? Lu Chen was a little depressed. Anyway, there were not many instance dungeons in Jiutian that were normal. Of course, Jiutian itself was not normal. It was normal for there to be these strange instance dungeons. Damn, is there any hint? Lu Chen did not know which one to choose. He planned to try the door of life and death. After all, in many cases, you would need to make a choice before the description would pop up. However, just as the words were about to come out of his mouth, Lu Chen suddenly stopped. No, what if after I choose, the system assumes that I chose this instance dungeon? Wouldn't I die miserably? After thinking about it, Lu Chen very carefully chose the door of life and death. Even if the system recognized it, it would not be too bad. You have chosen the door of life and death. Lu Chen's face was full of helplessness. Very good, I knew it. Fortunately, I was prepared and chose a door of life with more doors of life. There are a total of 100 doors of life and death. 99 of them are the easier doors of life and one of them is the more difficult door of death. The difficulty of this door of death is more difficult than all of the doors of life and death. Only by clearing this door of death will you be given the opportunity to choose another door of life and death. After clearing all the doors of death, you will receive a special reward. Chapter 345. All the choices made by the door of life and death will activate a buff or debuff. The door of life will activate a buff and the door of death will activate a debuff. Please select the dungeon you wish to enter. Lu Chen frowned as he carefully studied the complicated dungeon. He could almost smell the scent of danger, a title. In other words, if I choose the door of death, I can continue to challenge the 99 doors of life and death. As for the remaining 99 doors of death, I can obtain a special reward if I pass all the doors of death. Anyway, he already had a lot of titles. He didn't mind adding one more. However, the words special reward still had an extraordinary attraction. Everyone could obtain a normal reward. As for the special reward, there shouldn't be many people who had it. Immediately, Lu Chen looked at the 100 doors in the menu. After taking a closer look, Lu Chen was suddenly enlightened. Below each door was some data. For example, the first door had number of players selected, 14312. Number of players cleared, 7433. Most recent time of clearance, 4 months ago. Shortest time of clearance, 17 minutes 44 seconds. Wait, the most recent time of clearance was actually 4 months ago. How long has the second heaven been open for? The Holy Gate and the others have only occupied the main city for slightly more than 2 months. Lu Chen felt strange. Moreover, no one has cleared it within 4 months. Whatever, there are too many secrets in Jiutian. I can only slowly find the answers in the future. Lu Chen muttered to himself. Regardless of whether the data was wrong or not, since it showed that so many people had cleared it, it was obvious that this was the door of life. The same data appeared below the second door. It was the same for the third door. Most of the doors had been chosen and cleared a few months ago. The strange thing was that no one had cleared it in the past 4 months. Until the end, Lu Chen found that the data of a door was very eye-catching. Number of players selected, 41. Number of players cleared, 0, most recent time of clearance, none. Shortest time of clearance, none. The only door that no one had cleared was obviously the door of death. Should I choose the door of death? Lu Chen took a deep breath. Speaking of which, according to the current difficulty of the game, the Door of Life should drop some good equipment. The unique characteristic of the Death Gate was that no one had cleared it before, so it was impossible to estimate its difficulty. According to the system, this is the most difficult of all the Death Gates. As long as I can pass it, the other Death Gates won't be a problem. Lu Chen hesitated for a while before he finally made up his mind. If I have the strength, it would be a waste if I don't try. Wealth comes from danger. Let's do this. Taking a deep breath, Lu Chen chose the last door. At the same time, the number of people who had chosen the last door changed to 42. As a result, the moment he entered the instance dungeon, Lu Chen was shocked by the system prompt. Acquired debuff, Death Aura Seal, except for summoning skills, all techniques, equipment attributes and special effects, skills, acquired talents, consumables are disabled. Health regeneration is reduced by 200%. What the fuck? Seeing this debuff, Lu Chen, who was always calm, immediately cursed. Speaking of which, the large group of players who had cleared the Door of Life were actually very strong. It should be known that even Ling Tian's team hadn't cleared any of the Door of Life. And even with such a group of super strong players, no one had cleared the Door of Death. This indeed showed how difficult the Door of Death was. As expected of the Door of Death. Once the debuff appeared, it made people have the urge to give up. Not far ahead, there were 4 or 5 huge rhinoceroses patrolling. Looking at their IDs, Lu Chen realized that they weren't rhinoceroses, but Kuei bulls, a type of monster in the classic of mountains and seas. No way. In the first layer of heaven, Kuei bulls are considered boss-level existences. How can they be 110 here? Now, Lu Chen was a little embarrassed. He could only rely on normal attacks, and normal attacks didn't have combos, critical hits, or poison attacks. Wait, maybe my critical hit is still there. The Death Aura Seal seals the acquired talent, and I'm originally a Gnoll, so I was born with a critical hit talent. This talent shouldn't be considered acquired. Another thing worth rejoicing over was that he could still summon Source. Source's talent was immune to both physical and spiritual attacks, so it was safe to be a meat shield. If I don't have a skill, then I don't have a skill. I still have so many basic attributes. If I can't pass the Door of Death, then it's even more impossible for others to pass. Thinking of this, Lu Chen regained some of his confidence. Let's give it a try. Source, go and pull a Kuei bull over. Let's get familiar with it first. Source saw the opportunity and pulled a patrolling Kuei bull in front of Lu Chen. The master and servant attacked the Kuei bull at the same time. The Kuei bull's HP was 19 million. As expected of a sub-level monster in the hard difficulty. Lu Chen's normal attack was about 240,000. After deducting the opponent's defense, he could still deal about 180,000 damage. Fortunately, the first attack was a critical hit, and the damage soared to 500,000 plus. As expected, my critical hit is still there. With Source, there is no danger at all. Additionally, it was worth noting that the Kuei bull's attacks had a spiritual attack effect, and Source could absorb spiritual attacks. Its initial spiritual attack was about 13,000. Every time it received damage, it would increase its spiritual attack by 300. Not bad. It seems like I should pull more monsters and let little Source accumulate spiritual attack faster. After killing this one, I'll let little Source tank the monsters. It took around 3 to 4 minutes to kill the first Kuei bull. Killed Kuei bull, level 61st advancement demon. Obtained 10.8 million world essence. Obtained 5 first advancement talent fragments. Obtained 5 first advancement 1-star evolution points. Increased pure aura by 36 points. It's the same as the Radiant Moon werewolves. It's a first advancement 1-star evolution material. The quality is a bit low, but there are more of them. Not bad, I just happen to need a large amount of first advancement 1-star evolution material to level up. Ding! Obtained, Kuei Bull Thick Leg Armor, Purple, Kuei Bull Inner Core, Alchemy Material, X1, Purple Demon Beast Core X5. The first one dropped purple equipment and 5 Demon Beast Cores. The drop rate is really good. Little source, we should be able to clear this death gate. It's just a matter of time. Let's pull more monsters. As an extremely rare puppet, Origin had super strong abilities. In the following fights, Origin became a tank without any pressure. Moreover, the more others attacked it, the higher its damage. After 10 minutes, after killing 3 Kuei Bulls, Origin's magic attack was 130,000. Its magic attack was increasing by 10,000 every minute. After an hour, Origin's attack had already exceeded Lu Chen's double critical damage. This guy's magic attack was close to 700,000, and its physical attack was 140,000. A casual normal attack could deal 800,000 plus damage. The only thing that made it worse than Lu Chen was that its attack speed was slower than Lu Chen's. At this time, the damage of the two was basically equal. After 2 hours, Origin's damage had exceeded 1,500,000. Lu Chen had already become a bystander. Damn, big brother, the boss room is in front. I'm going to hug your thigh. Lu Chen looked at his puppet in admiration. This guy is too fierce. Chapter 346. Inside the boss room was a huge Western dragon. After Lu Chen recovered, he asked Little Originator to start the fight. Abyssal Black Dragon, please give me a good one. Lu Chen said excitedly. The boss had 300 million HP and many AoE skills. However, for Little Originator only needed to increase its magic attack. Lu Chen just needed to make sure he didn't get hit. Little Originator's attack remained at 1.5 million. Together with Lu Chen's hundreds of thousands of attack, they dealt around 2 million DPS. After a dozen minutes, the Abyssal Black Dragon's HP dropped to 30%. However, at this time, the Abyssal Black Dragon started to use a skill. Fire, Black Flame Prairie. Elemental Prefix. It's an elemental attack. Lu Chen exclaimed. Little Originator was actually afraid of elemental attacks and heavenly wrath attacks. Lu Chen quickly switched to dual control mode, helping Little Originator to dodge the skill while avoiding it. Without the help of the Eye of the Gods, Lu Chen could only rely on his own judgment to estimate the range of the skill. He quickly controlled Little Originator to dodge to the side. Black Flame Prairie had a very large range. After the skill ended, a large area of black flames would be left on the ground. It seemed that stepping on it would cause continuous damage. Fortunately, Lu Chen had practiced in the Radiant Moon Werewolves base camp for more than 10 days. He was already familiar with dual control and successfully controlled Little Originator to avoid the damage. In addition to this skill, the Abyssal Black Dragon entered a short period of moderation, and its attack type also returned to physical attack and magic attack. However, Lu Chen didn't dare to be careless. He was only one step away from clearing the stage. Even if he didn't attack, he had to make sure that Little Originator didn't make any mistakes. 3 minutes later, the flames on the ground were almost extinguished. The Abyssal Black Dragon started the second round of Black Flame Prairie. Activate once every 3 minutes. Lu Chen silently noted down the time. At most, we can hold on for 3 more waves, and the battle should be over. The closer they got, the more focused Lu Chen became. The 3rd round, the 4th round, and the 5th round. Finally dodged it. This guy is almost dead. Full DPS. More than a minute later, Lu Chen's triple critical hit, along with the 2 million damage from Little Originator, finally landed on the final boss. You have killed Abyssal Black Dragon, LV60 Death's Gate Leader. Obtained 33 million World Evolution Points. Obtained First Transition Second Stage Fragment X8. Obtained First Transition Second Star Evolution Points X8. Obtained 36 points of Pure Aura. Ding! Obtained Abyssal Dragon Crystal Bow, Legendary Dazzling Gold, Black Dragon Necklace, Dark Gold Necklace, 100 Generations of Life and Death Gate Reset Scroll, Dragon Gallbladder, Alchemy Material, Dragon Skeleton, Puppet Material, Dragon Bone, Material, Monster Core, Orange. The Abyssal Black Dragon dropped a bunch of items. There were 2 pieces of equipment, a Legendary Dazzling Gold and a Dark Gold Necklace. The rest were mostly materials. Dazzling Golden Bow. Lu Chen was excited. This was his second piece of dazzling gold equipment. The first one was the treasure, Universal Annihilation, but it could only be activated after killing 50 creatures of the same level. Currently, it could only be used to increase basic attributes. This time, a weapon was directly dropped. Moreover, it was a bow and arrow. Lu Chen previously had an archer's flash shot skill, but he lacked a weapon. Let's check the equipment. Don't make it activate again. Abyssal Dragon Crystal Bow, Legendary Dazzling Gold. When the bow appeared in front of Lu Chen was stunned. Lu Chen had seen a lot of bows. After all, a lot of players liked to play long range. Later on, pugilists could become archers. However, the appearance of this bow had surpassed all the bows he had seen. It was a black bow. The entire bow was made of crystal. The cut surface was like a diamond, faintly emitting a black light. 2 dragons were coiled around the bow, baring their fangs and brandishing their claws. It was as if they were about to leave the bow and soar into the sky. Damn, this is pretty cool. Attack, Physical Attack 6744 to 8973, Magic Attack 1500, Strength, 6700, Agility, 6900, Physique, 3400, Attack Range, 1500 meters, Double Critical Hit Chance 32%, Triple Critical Hit Chance 7%, Quadruple Critical Hit Chance 1%, Critical Hit Damage 110%, Special Effect 1, Panicked Spirit. When attacking the target, it will temporarily delay the target's casting speed, 1 seconds. If there is a critical hit after the attack, the target will be stunned. Double Critical Hit, stun for 1 second. For every double critical hit, stun duration will be extended by 1 second. Special Effect 2, Sky Piercing. The arrow's flying speed is ignored. Once it is shot, it will directly hit the target. It ignores any special effect of dazzling gold equipment or defense and evasion special effect of mid-earth level techniques. Special Effect 3, Super Long Range Shooting. After 10 seconds of charging, a super long range shooting will be performed. Maximum range is 3000 meters. Attack power increased by 300%. At the same time, it will enjoy the special effects of Panicked Spirit and Permetha. This attack is an area attack. It requires 50 arrows. It can attack up to 50 enemies within a radius of 100 meters. Special Effect 4, The Strongest Bow. It can attack the opponent's weapon, requires locking time of more than 3 seconds. After hitting, it will nullify the opponent's special effect of dazzling gold equipment or attack effect of mid-earth level techniques. Explanation 1, The Abyss Dragon Crystal Bow requires the arrow, Black Crystal Arrow. Explanation 2, The Abyss Dragon Crystal Bow can be used in battle. Seeing these 4 special effects, Lu Chen could no longer stay calm. Damn, this is an artifact. Panicked Spirit did not sound like much. It only delayed the opponent's casting time by 1 seconds. However, the last sentence suddenly made this skill an unsolvable skill. Why? Because the total rate of Lu Chen's double and triple critical hit had reached 77%. Even if he gave up the 32% double and triple critical hit rate of the wishful staff, the 32%, 7%, and 1% critical hit rate of the Abyss Dragon Crystal Bow reached 40%. Coupled with the critical hit rate of the Werewolf Bloodline, his total critical hit rate finally reached 85%. The problem now was that Lu Chen only had a 15% chance of not getting a critical hit. Damn, this panicked spirit is really strong. Panicked spirit alone was not enough. The Sky Piercer turned the arrows into instant damage, and it was almost guaranteed to hit. Coupled with panicked spirit, it gave Lu Chen enough time to interrupt the opponent. In fact, if Lu Chen used the bow, the opponent was very likely to be stunned to death. Super long-range shooting combined a group attack and super long-range shooting. The exaggerated distance of 3,000 meters made even Lu Chen a little nervous. Was this the ability to take the enemy's head from thousands of miles away? The last, strongest bow completely distinguished this bow from all the other orange and dark gold equipment. As long as the opponent's weapon was locked, the opponent's attack could be directly broken. How terrifying was that? If Traceless was using the 9 secrets of Imperial Sword, Lu Chen could beat him until he doubted his life. Strong, strong, too strong. Lu Chen picked up the bow and could not put it down. It's handsome and strong. I love it. Chapter 347. The Black Dragon Necklace's 3D attribute was around 2000. It added 2000 attack and had 4 special effects. Special Effect 1, Dragon Slayer Knight. Damage to dragons increased by 30%. Special Effect 2, Enhanced Attack. Damage increased by 200%. Cooldown of 30 seconds. Special Effect 3, Land of Death. After active use, lose 20% of your max HP and lose 1% of your HP every second. At the same time, you will gain the status Land of Death. For every 1% of your HP lost, your attack speed will increase by 4%. Special Effect 4, Dragon Blood Boil. After active use, lose 80% of your current HP and gain the status Dragon Blood Boil. All damage increased by 80%. This status can coexist with Land of Death. Dragon Blood Boil said that the damage increased by 80%. This meant that it did not only refer to the attack power. For example, the 1 million poison attack would be increased to 1,800,000. Oh my god, this necklace is fierce, but it seems to be a self-damaging way of fighting. Lu Chen took a deep breath. He would often self-harm, especially that Dragon Blood Boil. It would reduce his current HP to 80%. Even if he had full HP, he would be in the red after using it. However, on second thought, Lu Chen did not seem to have anything to be afraid of. I have 2 lives. Using this skill is not very dangerous. Moreover, if I use a bow, the opponent will have a hard time hitting me. Forget it, this necklace is better than the previous one. I'll wear it first. As for the special effects, I can use the first 3. As for the last one, Dragon Blood Boil. I'll see how it goes. After killing the Abyssal Black Dragon, Lu Chen obtained the right to reset the Door of Life and Death. No, if it's reset, then I can't go to the Door of Life here. Many people had cleared the Door of Life. However, Lu Chen still wanted to try because he thought of a problem. If he cleared all the Doors of Life, would there be a special reward? Even if the reward was not as good as 100 Doors of Death, there should be some reward. Lu Chen fully displayed his greedy nature. Anyway, I'm just leveling up. I'll reset it after clearing the Door of Life. After saying that, Lu Chen started to clear the dungeon. The difficulty of the Life Gate was much lower than the Death Gate. Not only did it not have any restrictions, but it also had various buffs. Lu Chen only took 22 minutes to complete the first dungeon. Fuck, 22 minutes. Someone actually took less time than me. Lu Chen looked at the record of this door. Someone had cleared it in a little over 17 minutes. It was hard to imagine that someone was stronger than the current Lu Chen. Right, could it be because of the increased difficulty of the game? Forget it, my goal is to clear all the life gates. I don't need to break the record. There were 100 dungeons in the 99 gates of life and death. Even if he cleared 2 dungeons in an hour, it would still take him 50 hours. There are another 100 doors waiting for Lu Chen. This was definitely a huge project. Looks like we'll have to stay in this dungeon for a while. 4 days later, Lu Chen finally reset the dungeon and entered the door of 99 deaths. After clearing 2 of the death gates here, Lu Chen discovered that the difficulty of the death gates here was much lower than the independent death gates from before. Although there were some debuffs and restrictions, as long as Lu Chen used his skills, it wouldn't be a problem. The only problem was that he really wanted to puke. Ah, I'm crazy. Although I got a lot of equipment, none of them are particularly good. How unlucky. I got a lot of materials. Forget it, I'll go back to the city and deal with my bag first. Then I'll see where I can get black crystal arrows. After saying that, Lu Chen temporarily left the dungeon and headed to Freedom City. Ling Tian and the others had no intention of taking back the main city. He didn't know if they had really given up or if they were just waiting for revenge. Lu Chen didn't care about them. After returning to the city, he put all the materials in his bag into the city's warehouse. The warehouse is so big. It feels good to be the only one using it. Lu Chen smiled. The number of players in Freedom City now seemed to be less than before. From the few players on the street, Lu Chen found out the reason. Although he had removed the unreasonable rules here, after he defeated the Holy Gate, it also meant that the largest guild in the level 60 map had disbanded. Today, the game's difficulty had multiplied. The original Holy Gate members had lost their support and were once again divided into small teams. They had no choice but to return to the various novice villages. In fact, the disbandment of the Holy Gate had led to the biggest wave of players returning to the novice villages. Damn it, what have I done? Lu Chen was extremely depressed. City Lord, although many people are scolding you now, you don't have to be discouraged. A passerby said to Lu Chen, this isn't your problem at all. It's that goddamn solipsistic's fault. I really want to kill that guy. Lu Chen's expression was a little stiff. Now, all the players in the server are gathering to fight him. Another passerby heard someone scolding solipsistic and immediately came over. As long as they scolded solipsistic, they would be friends. More and more people gathered around. Isn't that right? This is the first time I've encountered a situation where everyone in the server hates one person at the same time. This is the galaxy server, it means that the entire galaxy is hunting him down. Now the bounty has reached 6 million, and it's still rising. Let me tell you, everyone is united now. The game is so difficult, who has spare money? Even so, there are still many people who insist on increasing the amount of money raised every day. Really? That's how it should be. Passerby suddenly became excited. As long as each of us can fork out 1 gold coin a day, with more people and time, we'll definitely be able to get those super strong players to help us. Yes, we should start a campaign. Let's call it 1 gold coin a day for everyone. City Lord, you should participate too. If it wasn't for him, your Freedom City would definitely be overcrowded. Facing the enthusiastic invitation, Lu Chen was already heartbroken. Why change his character? He probably wouldn't be able to turn over a new leaf in this lifetime. Good luck. Lu Chen's heart was bleeding, but he squeezed out a smile and encouraged everyone to continue raising the bounty for him. My life is too difficult. Quickly leaving this place, Lu Chen ran to the weapons and consumables merchant. Flying feather arrow, gale arrow, black steel arrow, black steel arrow. Damn, just one more word. Lu Chen only found the arrow he was looking for when he flipped to the last page. Damn, 1 gold coin per arrow. Lu Chen almost broke down. Boss, you're robbing me. These were arrows, who knew how many would be used in a single battle. This price was definitely sky high. Hee, city lord, don't you have 4 million in your backpack? You're not willing to spend such a small amount of money? The shop owner could see the amount in Lu Chen's backpack and smiled evilly. A player who was looking at the arrows beside him was so shocked that his face turned pale. He turned his head and looked at Lu Chen in disbelief. 4 million. What a tycoon. The Holy Gate hated Lu Chen to the core, but in the end, they only raised the bounty to 2 million. The entire server's players had raised 6 million, but this guy alone had 4 million. Chapter 348. Lu Chen shook his head. Even if he had money, this was not the way to spend it. Boss, do you know where there is a cheaper one? If you are a 6-star blacksmith, you can forge it yourself. But how many 6-star blacksmiths are there? If you want to use black crystal arrows, you should buy them from me. Lu Chen did not want to be cheated by this merchant, so he said, forget it, I will go to the crafting master's place to take a look. Lu Chen arrived at the blacksmith profession. He looked at the material requirements. He had a large stock of materials for the black crystal arrow. Lu Chen calculated the cost. In fact, it was only a few dozen silvers, but the grocer had increased the price by more than 10 times. That way, even if I don't have enough materials, I can collect some materials and refine them myself. I can save a lot of money. More importantly, I can resupply myself in the wild. Then I'd better level up to 6-star. Otherwise, I really can't afford to use the black crystal arrows. Damn, I used to think that gold coins were useless. Now that I think about it, I really regret it. I should have bet more with them. Lu Chen began to strengthen the equipment in his hands. He was still lacking a bit of proficiency, so Lu Chen continued to forge the black iron cloud-piercing arrows and other miscellaneous items. In any case, he had never sold the materials he had obtained from the second heaven. It was enough for him to level up to 6 stars. He believed that he could resell the equipment and arrows, so he wouldn't make a loss. After refining for more than an hour, Lu Chen finally reached the level of a 6-star blacksmith. He started to refine the black crystal arrow. Let's collect some materials while we're refining. Lu Chen bought a booming cauldron and shouted at the Free City's map. 70 silver taels for unlimited black dragon scale and 70 silver taels for black dragon crystal iron. Interested parties, please trade at the weapon refiner's booth in the Free City. Lu Chen's price was twice as high as what the players sold to the shops, but it was still 30 to 40% lower than the usual purchase price. However, the problem was that right now, players were in dire need of money. Money was not spared, and monsters were not easy to kill. It was a vicious cycle. As soon as this news came out, it immediately attracted a large number of players. The price is quite fair. I have 60 sets of dragon scales and 25 sets of crystal iron. They can be sold for 6 gold coins. That's great. I have 100 of them here. That's 7 gold coins. Awesome. Finally, I have some income. Damn it, I've never been so poor in the first heaven. That's right. I'm almost bankrupt now. Lu Chen's stall was right there, and players could directly trade with him. He only needed to mind his own business and craft equipment. Before he knew it, it was already night time. The 140,000 gold coins that Lu Chen had given him had all been spent. After this batch of black crystal arrows, Lu Chen had refined 1,300,000 black crystal arrows. Miraculously, after crafting 130 black crystal arrows, Lu Chen's profession level stopped at 6-star 5%. From the looks of it, refining a certain type of item had a restriction on the advancement of one's profession. It's so difficult to rise from 6-star to 7-star. Actually, Lu Chen was not in a hurry to level up his job class. He had already achieved his objective for this trip. Now, he could return and continue grinding the door of life and death. This would probably take at least 4 days. However, when Lu Chen was engrossed in the game until the second day, something big happened. Today was a super important day for the players on Earth. At 7:40 in the morning, the number of online players in the Jiutian server had broken through the shocking 3 billion mark. There was only one reason for this. Today, the second heaven of Jiutian was officially opened. It was said that it would be a world filled with gold. It was said that the monsters there could drop orange equipment. It was said that there would be an even more vast and majestic world structure there. After a boring month of double farming, the players were already filled with anticipation for the new world that was about to arrive. Mad Demon 2. He only left a sentence on the forum. He didn't even say much about what the second heaven was like. Sigh, he just likes to be alone. But it's strange. Brother Nameless seems to have disappeared from the face of the earth during this time. Let's not care about them. We can enter the second heaven now. I'm now a 5 gods. I'll definitely look down on everyone in the second heaven. You're finally here. After a month of grinding, I'm about to puke. This is great. Hee, the second heaven, prepare to receive the anger of all the players. There were still 10 minutes until the second heaven opened. In the southern military region, an old man was on the phone with Li Muhua. Sir, we're ready. After a month of grinding day and night, the Predator's equipment level disadvantage has already caught up. Moreover, we have a divine beast. At least in the second celestial layer, we won't lose to the other military forces. But sir, did the people over there release any news about the second heaven? The old man frowned slightly. No. Currently, the staff of Heavenly Guild are not qualified to come into contact with the second heaven. Oh right, what did Lu Chen say? I asked him. This time, he was a little hesitant. I don't know if it's just my imagination, but I feel like he has a guilty conscience. Guilty conscience? The old man frowned slightly. Why would that guy have a guilty conscience? Did he do something to betray the military? Who knows? Anyway, we'll know when we reach the second heaven. In the Mad Waves Guild, the guild members were very excited. It's finally going to open. I'm dying of boredom. When we reach there, we'll kill a few hundred small monsters and see if they really drop orange equipment. I don't know where the guild master went. He hasn't appeared for so long. He didn't even come to the second heaven today. Do you know where he is? Hua Xiang asked. Lu Yi frowned slightly. I asked him a few times. He said he was farming dungeons. I don't know what dungeons in the first heaven are worth farming. Oh, right. He also said that when we reach the second heaven, we should wait for him in the village and not leave the village. If that's the case, what if Little Wild really drops orange equipment? Won't we fall behind? 10 Steps said worriedly. Leng Noa thought for a while. If the guild master said that, he should have his reasons. Let's wait and see. Brother Handsome, Brother Chic, please inform the others that when Mad Waves reaches the second heaven, we won't make any moves. Ning Xuan was still looking around. That's strange. It's such a big day today, but Master didn't come. 3 billion players worldwide, including countless professional players and official teams, were all waiting for the last exciting moment. It was as if the curiosity that had been suppressed for a month was finally about to explode. At 8:00, a huge black hole appeared in front of the Tong Tian Tower. This black hole was at least 100 meters tall and tens of meters wide. The second heaven has been opened. Players, please enter from the entrance of the Tong Tian Tower in the Yellow Sand World. I wish everyone a pleasant gaming experience in the second heaven. In an instant, countless players poured into the door. It was a door that led to a whole new world of gold. Yay, the second heaven, we're finally here. Ha ha ha, steel core game. Sorry, we're no longer the same as before. We're the strongest. Let's go. Chapter 349. After a long wait, the second heaven finally opened. Countless players rushed to enter the new world. After entering the game, all the players on Earth were born in an area called Earth Village. This map was huge and countless players gathered there. The players collectively received a system message. You have entered the second heaven. We wish you a happy game. It's finally here. Some players were already crying tears of joy. After fighting for 200 days and nights, we've finally entered the second heaven. Look at the sky. It's even bluer than the first heaven. The air is so fresh. Stop talking nonsense. Let's go and snatch the wild beasts. They're dropping orange equipment. A large number of players rushed out of the Earth Village's protection area. They rode on various mounts and hunted for wild beasts. Quick, quick, quick. Our good days are coming. Let's go. There must be more opportunities in the second heaven. Maybe we'll get something big and surpass Mad Demon and Nameless. Time is life now. Let's go. Don't team up. Let's snatch as many wild beasts as possible. Quick. A young couple entered the dense forest outside the Earth Village. They both looked to be around 18 or 19 years old. The boy was tall and handsome while the girl looked frail. Hubby, are you sure we don't want to team up? This is the second heaven. The girl followed closely behind the boy. The boy patted his chest. What's there to be afraid of? Our equipment is already very strong. We can just kill wild beasts. It'll be a different story if we get orange equipment. Don't worry, honey. We're very strong now. I have more than 500,000 HP and high defense. You're also good at healing and poison. Don't be afraid. The girl looked at the boy with admiration. Okay, I'm the safest with you around. After showing off their affection, the young couple continued to move deeper into the dense forest. After walking for a short distance, a loud noise came from behind them. Then, a 30-meter-tall behemoth appeared behind them. The two of them turned around at the same time. They were stunned when they saw a pair of blood-red eyes. The girl stared at the huge behemoth and said blankly, "Hubby, why is there such a big boss here? Did we encounter a wild boss? Damn, is this the boss of the second heaven? That's too scary." Such a big boss appeared in the beginner village. Hubby, but its avatar doesn't show the boss avatar. The boy thought for a moment. That's right, boss avatars all had special logos. This one didn't have any boss logo. Right at this moment, that guy rushed towards the two of them. Its speed was extremely fast, and its huge body caused the ground to rumble. With a boom, the radiant moon werewolf slapped at him. As a melee fighter, the boy could only go up and yell, "Wifey, heal me." However, this slap was a critical hit, dealing 670,000 damage. Fuck. I was insta-killed. The boy screamed and returned to the novice village. The boy's HP bar disappeared instantly. The girl had been preparing for a long time, but she had lost her target. She looked at the huge monster in horror. It was already impossible to escape, but the damage just now was simply too exaggerated. The radiant moon werewolf wasn't the type to go easy on women. With another slap, he killed the 330,000 HP medicine master before swaggering off. Similar scenes were playing out endlessly outside the Earth Village. However, these were all small groups. Outside the Earth Village, a radiant moon werewolf was surrounded by hundreds of people. When they saw this radiant moon werewolf, the thirsty players were extremely excited. Ha ha ha, a boss spawned. Come and kill the boss. It might drop dark gold. Fuck, what a huge boss. Hee hee, it's time to show our true strength. Quick hands get it, slow hands get it. Everyone, charge. Wipe out the second heaven. The radiant moon werewolf looked at these people expressionlessly. When it saw the player at the front, it waved its claw. Minus 440,000, insta-killed. The group of players who were in charge hurriedly stopped, their bodies petrified. This is so strong. Why is there such a scary boss outside the novice village? Fuck, does this boss have to be so strong? Its attack is even higher than a sky domain boss. Boss my ass, it's not a boss at all. It doesn't even have an elite avatar. It's a small monster. Small monster. The group of people sized up this huge 30-meter tall creature again. Bro, are you sure it's a small monster? I don't think it's small at all. Fuck, this isn't a boss at all. I was insta-killed by this monster just now. There are all these monsters around here. It's terrifying. What? There are all these monsters. Fuck, that's impossible. Then what do we do? In hard mode, the Radiant Moon Werewolf's attack had increased by more than 4 times. Werewolves had high attack to begin with, and in easy mode, they could deal almost 100,000 HP to Lu Chen. The players were either sent flying or killed instantly. They were utterly defeated in an instant. Seeing the boss kill indiscriminately, the players at the back retreated. In the end, they all turned around and ran. Fuck, it's killing us. Run. It insta-killed one player in one hit. What's there to fight? Run. Those in front, run faster. Are you crazy? Why are all these small monsters so fierce? Help, don't block the way. I want to return to the safe zone. The Radiant Moon Werewolf killed hundreds of players. Suddenly, it realized that the group of people who wanted to kill it had all run away. At 11 o'clock in the morning, the novice village was especially crowded. A group of people hid in the safe zone. The entire safe zone was filled with a strange emotion. Disappointment, depression, and some fear. A Caucasian man sat on the ground, his face full of grievance. With a sobbing tone, he said, "Didn't we say that we were here to pick up money? I even dropped my 5 divine martial bracers. I couldn't beat it even with the divine martial set. Now that my equipment is gone, how am I supposed to fight?" The surrounding players were also complaining. I thought I was here to kill monsters. I didn't expect to be killed by monsters the moment I arrived. And insta-killed. Do you think I don't care about my reputation? Do you have any humanity left? Do you have any humanity left? Are these even small monsters? Are there any small monsters in games like this? Tianxing, come out. Find me a fucking game. You're not treating us players as humans at all. It's just a game. Do you have to torture us like this? How did we offend you, Tianxing? It wasn't easy for us to come here. We were originally happy, but now we've lost our equipment and can't leave the village. What's the point of playing this fucking level 2? Have a good game. Happy my asterisk SS. I can't be happy now. At this moment, perhaps sensing the immense grievances of the players, the system made a notification. Current game difficulty, hard, game difficulty upgrade record, June 11th, Lone Tyrant has represented all players in raising the game's difficulty from easy to normal. Monsters' attributes have been doubled, while players' attributes have been reduced by 15%. Higher drops have been unlocked, and dark gold equipment and above have been unlocked. June 18th, Solipsistic represented all players and raised the game difficulty from normal to hard. Wild Monsters' attributes doubled again, players' attributes decreased by 15%, higher drops unlocked, dark gold and above equipment unlocked, dark gold and above equipment unlocked. When the group saw these two notifications, their jaws dropped in shock. Mad Devil came a week earlier. What did he do? Chapter 350. Before the Earth players could finish lamenting, another piece of bad news came. This server is Galaxy Server District 19. A total of 700,000 players from the human world from various galaxies are competing here. Players of the Earth Village, please take note. In order to allow everyone to enjoy the fun of competing together, players of the Earth Village will have 2 days to develop. After 2 days, the Earth Village will be officially open to the public. At that time, players who entered this server in advance may come to plunder resources. Please be prepared. The terrifying Xiao Yi from before was already surprising enough. The news that came out in the end instantly caused an uproar in the Earth Village. What? Galaxy server? 700,000 players from the human world. Oh my god, am I seeing things? Did you guys receive the system announcement? Yes, we did. Is it really the Galaxy server? Other than us, there are other players joining. Are they aliens? Damn, are they playing with aliens? This is too exaggerated. The players felt that their worldview had been turned upside down. However, this was not the main point. The main point was the last sentence. They might come to plunder the Earth Village's resources. This made the Earth players nervous. Are they the same level as us? Didn't we open the second heaven in advance? Why did they enter the game at the same time as us? Don't tell me we're being tortured like dogs. What should we do? We can't even farm the small monsters now. How are we going to deal with those super strong players? Everyone, stop arguing. If this is true, then we can't just sit around and wait for death. You have to know that we represent Earth. That's right. The game is difficult. Let's not fight among the different servers. We must unite now. Guild alliances and official teams of each country, this is the time for you to step forward. Under the external and internal threats, the guild alliances and government organizations of each country finally began to sit down and discuss countermeasures together. An hour later, the guild alliances and military organizations of more than 200 countries held the First Earth Players Congress in the village. At this time, in the large level 2 newbie villages like the Dark Nether Village, the players were also discussing the same thing. Come to think of it, the normal players should have entered the server today. It's time to plunder again. Hurry up, I'm going crazy from poverty. Right now, they should all be in the newbie village. They are currently under protection for 2 days. I've also looked at the data. This batch of players from 130,000 worlds will be opening the second heaven domain. Among them, the shortest preparation time is only double the time of 1 month. Their overall strength is quite weak. I've specifically checked. The players from the original world of Solipsistic are also coming over this time. It's a place called Earth. Their preparation time is the shortest of 1 month. Really? Fuck, then let's create a global village. After the First Earth Players Congress, it was decided that everyone had to give up on their internal conflicts and unite against the outside world. As for the Radiant Moon werewolves at the entrance of the village, they could no longer send them to their deaths one by one. With the original server as the unit, the military would take the lead and the guild alliance would cooperate fully to kill them. You must pay attention to the equipment that players drop when they die. Pick it up if you can and hand it over to the military. Everyone, take a picture of your equipment and use it as proof to claim it. We can't lose any more combat power. Also, all the equipment that you get, purple equipment and above, hand it over to Wuxia's military for unified management and distribution. Wuxia's overall national strength had long surpassed the United States. Their reputation and status in the world were no longer what they used to be. It was normal to hand it over to Wuxia. Also, immediately select a group of the best players and form a 40-man team. Give them priority to equip them with equipment and let them become our fist strength. At this moment, the Yamato military suddenly asked the representative of Wuxia's military, "Excuse me, is there any news about your country's god of war?" The representative of Wuxia's military shook his head. "I can't contact him for the time being." Sigh. The representative of Yamato sighed. Mad Demon's actions are even more sinister. Basically, we can't count on him. If Nameless is here, perhaps our chances of winning will be higher. Unfortunately, we can't find him at this time. The representatives of other countries also shook their heads helplessly. Now, those who can enter the second heaven should be from the servers that entered earlier. Their players who defeated the Heaven Domain boss are very likely to lead the players in their world to launch a defense or plunder war, but we. The one who defeated the Heaven Domain boss in Wuxia was solipsistic. That person who slaughtered and killed without mercy would definitely not help them. If only we can find Nameless. He's strong and has a good relationship with Mad Demon. Maybe Mad Demon will help us for his sake. The representative of Wuxia shook his head. Indeed, we can't contact Nameless. I've also asked the Mad Wave Guild. They haven't seen their guild leader for a month. I think, now we shouldn't pin all our hopes on Nameless. According to our previous plan, let's start the selection and farming work first. After agreeing on the strategy, the Earth players finally moved. On one hand, the village held a world's top player selection competition. The participants were the strongest players recommended by the guild alliances of each country, including the closed beta player alliance. Every class had a certain quota. This way, there would be no problem in forming the strongest army in the future. On the other hand, the military teams and professional teams began to lead the players to deal with the super strong monsters in the wild. In fact, farming became a massacre scene. As the Radiant Moon werewolves had an extremely high instant kill rate, even the tanks with the best equipment had to take turns to take the damage. Fortunately, when the players worked together and had enough numbers, it was not completely impossible to defeat the Radiant Moon werewolves. Gradually, the news of the team's victory began to spread, at the same time, inside the Mad Wave Guild. At this time, everyone was glad that they listened to their guild leader's suggestion and did not leave the Earth village. Therefore, their guild did not suffer any losses. The guild leader told us to wait for him, but, the aliens are about to attack. Why hasn't the boss appeared yet? 10 steps and the others were anxious. Little May looked at Louis, meaning, you should go and ask your brother. Louis nodded and quietly hung up. She called her brother. Brother, what are you doing? Farming dungeons. I'm almost numb. Lu Chen's voice was emotionless. 200 dungeons. It would be strange if Lu Chen was not numb. He had been looking for dungeons before, but now, there were more for him to farm. Brother, we've reached the second level. When are you coming over? You've reached the second level. Hey, brother, didn't you receive the system's notification? The second level opens at 8 in the morning. Lu Chen obviously did not receive it. Brother, how long will it take for you to finish farming the dungeons? Lu Chen looked at the remaining dungeons. There were still 44 of them. At least 2 more days. 2 days. 2 days. Louis did not dare to ask more. After all, her brother was probably not going to farm an ordinary dungeon. Well, it's more important for you to farm the dungeons first. Having strength is the most important. After hanging up the phone, Louis calculated the time. Her brother might not be able to arrive before the Earth village lifted the novice protection. I hope we won't be found so easily. On the other side. In the blink of an eye, they've already reached the second level. Lu Chen's brain was not working. Not only had he been farming for so long, but he had also become numb. Let's continue farming. If we leave this place, I'm afraid I won't want to come back. Lu Chen shook his head. Please, give me a better reward. Chapter 351. The legends on Earth were true, the Radiant Moon werewolves really dropped orange equipment. However, compared to the heaven that everyone had imagined, the only difference was that the so-called small monsters drop orange equipment was true. However, this small monster required the cooperation of dozens of parties. Who knew how many people would be sacrificed in order to defeat it? Fortunately, the military of each country and the Guild Alliance led the way. Plus, everyone knew that they were about to face an alien invasion, so no one secretly picked up other people's equipment. The strongest 40 people in the village were selected on the second day. Not only were the strongest selected, but 2 reserve teams were also selected. The strength of the closed beta players was still strong, 50 out of the 120 spots were selected, and the first team was more than half. The rest were the strongest players from all over the world. It was worth mentioning that there were 18 people from Wuxia's side who were selected for the list of 120, and 4 of them were selected for the first team. They were TT Lin Sun, ESD Xiaoyao Feng, Iron-Blooded Fenghua, and Wild Waves Ing Jun. On Wild Waves' side, other than Ing Jun, Wild Waves Stardust, and Wild Waves Gaming Black Hole were also selected for the first team. Wild Waves actually took up 3 spots in the first team. The Wild Waves Guild was also bustling. Brother Ing Jun, you're too strong. Flower Fragrance looked at Ing Jun with admiration. 10 Step said proudly, Brother Ing Jun was originally very strong, but he didn't have equipment before. Now that his equipment isn't inferior to others, he can finally unleash his full strength. It's a pity for Sister Sticky, Easy Bro, E, and Ningxuang. They were 2 rounds away from the list of 120. Cold Glutinous smiled and said, I was just lucky. Stardust and Black Hole are the ones who really rely on strength. It was definitely good news that someone was selected for the first team. In this second layer of heaven where danger lurked everywhere, the phenomenon of Earth players huddling together would continue for a long time. This way, his equipment would be quickly formed, which was definitely a good thing for his guild. After the 120 strongest people in the village were selected, Ing Jun, Stardust, and Black Hole didn't stay in the guild for long before they were immediately summoned. The higher-ups said that they had to quickly organize a fist team training. Everyone's individual strength was strong, but a team still needed tacit cooperation. Their current training program was also a little scary, soloing Radiant Moon werewolves with the strength of a single team. Looking at the backs of Ing Jun and the others, Zi Hao shook his head. Yesterday, we were still talking about killing monsters like crazy when we reached the second celestial stage. Who would have thought that things would turn out like this when we actually arrived? Only the 40 strongest people in the world are qualified to fight a werewolf. Lang Nua patted Zihao's shoulder. Alright, stop sighing. Since we're here, let's get ready for a big fight. We can't let the aliens bully Earth. After receiving the encouragement from the president, everyone regained their confidence. Other than the fist team, the other teams were also rushing to kill the werewolves. Wuxia's military was constantly receiving new purple equipment and began to distribute them to the fist team. 2 days later, the global village's safe period finally ended. For other players, they could see the location of Earth Village on the map. For Earth players, they could also see the neighboring Nether Village on the map. It turned out that they were in a sealed map, and now the road to Nya Yuan Village had been opened. It was impossible for them to go on a long journey. Now, the Earth players could only hope that others would not find this place. Unfortunately, things did not go as they wished. Early in the morning, the scouts arranged by Wuxia's military rushed back to Earth Village's base camp. At this time, all the big bosses were discussing the construction and defense of Earth Village when the scouts rushed in. Captain, someone is coming. The scouts were a little out of breath. All the big bosses at the scene were suddenly shocked. What? This is too fast. Did they come at the right time? We just received a system notification, and they came the next second. What do they look like? How many of them are there? What are their levels? How are their equipment? The scouts immediately reported. They look like us. There are tens of thousands of them. I can't see their levels, but they must be over level 50. As for their equipment, many of them are wearing orange equipment with special effects. No, it's not just orange equipment. I saw many of them wearing dark gold equipment, and more than one. Tens of thousands of them. Full orange equipment, and dark gold equipment. Everyone's eyes widened. How were they supposed to fight? They were grinding radiant moon werewolves, and the best equipment they had was 7 stars chasing the moon. Even an entire team only had a handful of them. In the end, tens of thousands of them were all wearing the best equipment. Captain, I heard many of them say that they want to massacre our Earth village. What? Massacre? We don't seem to have offended anyone. Why do they hate us so much? This, judging from their equipment levels, I'm afraid they really want to massacre our Earth village. At this time, the representative of Wuxia's military, Great Wall Black Eagle, stood up. His eyes were restrained, and his tone was firm. Everyone, whether we can win or not, we must not back down this time. Everyone nodded. Everyone had already reached a consensus on this point. Surrender and beg for mercy. History had proven that this would not arouse the sympathy of the invaders. Instead, they would become more aggressive. The only way out now was to fight. Inform all players immediately to get into formation and prepare for battle. Great Wall Black Eagle looked at everyone present. Everyone, we must fight with vigor in this battle. Even if the city is massacred. Well, it seems to be massacred, we must let the aliens know that we, Earthlings, are not to be trifled with. That's right. In the face of a strong enemy, we will never back down. Great Wall Black Eagle looked into the distance and took a deep breath. He did not know why, but it was just a game, but it gave him a long-lost feeling of excitement. He murmured, with my flesh and blood, I will build a new Great Wall of the world. With my flesh and blood, I will build a new Great Wall of the world. Well said. Time was running out, and the commanders quickly passed down the order. What, the aliens are here. Quick, quick, inform the players to go online. Is there going to be a war? Our slogan is with my flesh and blood, I will build a new Great Wall of the world. Great, what's there to be afraid of? They bully us as soon as they arrive. Come, even if I die, I will smear their faces with dust. Everyone, let's move. We have more people, and they only have tens of thousands. We can drown them with our saliva. At this time, more than 1 million players had gathered in Niayuan village. The vanguard has gone. I don't know if Solipsistic is here. Let's go and check it out first. If we go now, we will be eating meat in big mouthfuls. However, we might still die if we are not careful. After all, the difference in numbers is too big for players from this world. It's okay. It's easy to choke on meat in big mouthfuls. Anyway, we will have meat to eat. They have 3 billion people. Tens of thousands of people won't be able to finish them all. Many people from the bounty groups are here. They want to snatch Solipsistic's bounty. Don't worry. After all, there are too many people in Earth Village. Now players from all over the server are rushing here, vowing to slaughter Earth Village endlessly and force them to punish Solipsistic severely. Chapter 352. This time, the 130,000 worlds had opened the second heaven. Strangely, the veteran players were not interested in the ordinary players of these worlds. Instead, they had all come to Earth Village. As for the reason, of course, it was Solipsistic's fault. Now, Solipsistic's original body was clearing the last life gate. The reward of the 100 Death Gate could be claimed, but Lu Chen would rather wait a little longer. If the 100 Life Gate also had a reward, he would claim it at the same time. This was the only life gate in the 99 Death Gates, and it was more difficult than all the other gates. However, Lu Chen did not find it too difficult since he had already cleared the only Death Gate. At most, he would just waste some time. Ah, there's one more point. Little Originator, go for it. Now, Little Originator's attack had soared to 2 million, and its damage was no less than Lu Chen's. 20 minutes later, I finally cleared it. Damn, I got a dark gold cloak. It's okay, but it didn't drop any rainbow gold. Lu Chen sat on the ground in relief. You have cleared the 100 Life Gate and received a special reward. Would you like to claim it now? There really is a reward. Lu Chen felt that his hard work had not been in vain. Taking a deep breath, Lu Chen rubbed his hands. Bless me, bless me, bless me. Give me a good reward. Let's claim the 100 Life Gate reward first. Congratulations on claiming the 100 Life Gate reward. You can strengthen a dark gold item to level 6. Damn, this is the reward of the 100 Life Gate. Lu Chen frowned. He felt that it was not good enough. But then again, can dark gold items be strengthened? Lu Chen tried it on the strengthening page and found that there was no strengthening prompt for dark gold items. In fact, although dark gold items were stronger than orange items in terms of basic attributes and special effects, a dark gold item of the same level was not as strong as an orange item of the same level. So, dark gold items can also be strengthened, but they can only be strengthened through special means. Lu Chen thought about it and could only come to this conclusion. If he could only strengthen one item, Lu Chen took a look at his equipment and decisively chose the dark gold magic weapon, Universal 8 Desolation. Universal Desolation was one of his 2 strongest damage output skills. Its damage was off the charts, and it was a Heaven's Wrath attack. In terms of pure damage, it was even stronger than 3000 Body Flicker Slash. In addition, the Magic Treasure Heaven and Earth 8 Desolates had the most special effects. After it was strengthened, all the special effects would be upgraded, and the benefits would obviously be the greatest. You have chosen the Dark Gold Artifact Universal 8 Desolation to strengthen. The system is activating Universal Refinement for you. This function requires a 9-star Artificer to activate. Damn, so it turns out that I can also strengthen it, but I need to be a 9-star Refiner. Thinking about how he was only a 6-star Refiner now, Lu Chen still felt that he had profited. After the upgrade, the basic attributes of the 8 Desolation Heaven and Earth equipment surpassed that of the Dazzling Gold equipment. The 3D average value reached 6,500 plus, and the spiritual energy increased by 1,500. Most importantly, the special effects were enhanced. Lightless Heavenly Flame Pillar, radius increased to 200 meters. A maximum of 288 lightless Heavenly Flame Pillars can be created. Heavenly Flame Pillar, preparation time, 0.1 seconds, duration, 5 seconds. Furthermore, after being hit for the first time, players would be stunned for 0.5 seconds. Damn, it's so strong. Lu Chen's eyes widened. The current lightless Heavenly Flame Pillar was extremely difficult to dodge. Moreover, once hit, players would be stunned for 0.5 seconds, and it was very likely that they would be burned twice in a row. Black Coffin Dead Zone, radius reached an exaggerated 500 meters. Damage increased by 50%. Nirvana Rebirth was also super strong. After death, players could revive twice. Cooldown time, 24 hours. Tranquil Spring, increase HP recovery speed by 1% every second. Active healing of 50% of the target's HP, maximum of 40 targets to heal. Cooldown time, 590 seconds, 600 to 10. Underground Magma, cause a large-scale earthquake and magma eruption. Enemies in the area will be stunned for 3 seconds. Mystic Armor, permanently gain 40% damage reflection effect. After being hit, there is a 35% chance of taunting the enemy for 5 seconds. During taunting, the user's physical defense, spiritual defense, and HP recovery speed will be increased by 150%. Additionally, there is an additional 160% damage reflection effect. Damn, there is a 35% chance of 200% damage reflection. Damn, this is definitely a godly tool to turn the tables. The strongest Heaven and Earth 8 Desolation was simple and brutal. It increased from 10 times to 15 times, but it was absolutely terrifying. Too strong. Looks like I didn't make the wrong choice. My attack power has increased again. Please collect the 100 Death Gate reward as soon as possible. After leaving the dungeon, the reward will automatically become invalid. The system was already urging Lu Chen. I know. Don't do it one by one. The 100 Life Gate reward was just an appetizer. Lu Chen believed that the more difficult 100 Death Gate was the most important. Collect the 100 Death Gate reward. Congratulations on collecting the 100 Death Gate reward. You can strengthen a piece of rainbow gold equipment to level 7, this function requires a 1-star weapon refiner to activate. Ah, that's it? Lu Chen was rather disappointed. You didn't even give me anything. Are you worthy of me grinding for so many days? Unfortunately, the system wouldn't care about Lu Chen's complaints. Lu Chen shook his head and silently took out his only piece of rainbow gold equipment, the Abyss Dragon Crystal Bow. I have no choice. I can only strengthen you. You are the only piece of rainbow gold equipment I have. Dark gold equipment could only be strengthened by 6, while rainbow gold equipment could be strengthened by 7. After strengthening, the 3D attributes of the Dragon Crystal Bow directly exceeded 10,000. Strength and agility exceeded 12,000. Physique also increased by 8,500. Attack exceeded 15,000. Double critical strike chance increased by 50%, triple critical strike chance increased by 15%, quadruple critical strike chance increased by 5%, and critical strike damage increased by 250%. Seeing the first effect, Lu Chen shook his head. Now, his critical strike chance had exceeded 100%. Chaos God attacks the caster, delaying their casting speed, 0.5 seconds. If there is a critical strike after the attack, the target will be stunned. Double critical strike, stun for 2 seconds. Every time there is a double critical strike, stun time will be extended by 2 seconds. Sky Piercer was still a rapid firing speed and a sure hit. In addition, there was a cripple effect, reducing attack speed and movement speed by 30% for 10 seconds. Super long range shooting, range changed from 3,000 meters to 7,000 meters. Attack increased to 500%. At the same time, he could enjoy the effects of Chaos God and Prometha. The number of people attacking increased to 100. The most powerful change was the strongest bow. There were no changes to the initial effects. Only when attacking the enemy's weapon, there was a new description. After locking onto the enemy's weapon for 0.3 seconds, there is a probability of shattering the enemy's weapon after hitting the enemy's weapon. Probability description 1, 100% chance of shattering purple equipment, 40% chance of shattering orange equipment, 10% chance of shattering dark gold equipment, 5% chance of shattering iridescent gold equipment. Probability description 2, for every level of equipment strengthening, the probability increases by 5%. Looking at this description, Lu Chen's worldview was almost shattered. 100% chance of shattering orange equipment. What kind of concept was this? Even orange equipment had a 40% chance of shattering. If there was a difference in strengthening, an orange equipment without strengthening would have a 75% chance of shattering the Dragon Crystal Bow, dark gold equipment, unless Lu Chen had passed the 100 life gate, 45% chance of shattering was close to 50%. Iridescent gold equipment, even without strengthening, still had a 40% chance of shattering. Lu Chen suddenly looked at the weapon in his hand. It turned out that the strongest bow was not a bluff. Previously, he did not feel it strongly because it had not shown its true strength. Now, Lu Chen knew how strong the bow in his hand was. Chapter 353. After clearing the door of life and death, Lu Chen could finally leave this damned place. Right, Louis said that the Earth players are here. It's time to visit them. After all, we're from the same hometown. Lu Chen exited the dungeon and opened the map to check. It seems to be south of Niayuan village. 9 wings. Lu Chen summoned 9 wings and jumped on. Let's go and see those old friends. Outside Earth Village, the scene could only be described as tragic. Facing an army of tens of thousands of super experts, the Earth players tried their best to resist, but the disparity in strength was too great. They could only rely on their numbers to hold the line. Brothers, charge. Kill one and you can get 4 or 5 gold. This is a great opportunity to make a fortune. Why are you robbing our Earth village? Is it fun to kill us newbies? Why? To tell you the truth, we don't need a reason at all. The law of the jungle is the only reason here. The 3 top teams on Earth fought hard, but their equipment levels were too low. They were instantly defeated when they met the enemy. You still want to resist? You players are trash in our eyes. Every one of us here has defeated the celestial domain boss. We are existences you can only look up to. In the distance, in the headquarters, the people in charge of the various countries could only shake their heads helplessly as they watched the tragic battle. They're too strong. Even if we block this wave, our losses will be huge. They're all super experts who have defeated the celestial domain boss. If that's true, then even if Nameless comes, he won't be able to turn the tables. Whatever, today is a battle for Earth's dignity. We can still block this wave. The battle lasted for a full 40 minutes before the Earth players finally repelled the enemy's attack. However, after this victory, there was no joy. The corpses of the Earth players were everywhere. As the main force of the battle, many players in the Guild Alliance died more than once. Many of the best equipment were also taken away by those guys. Li Muhua rushed back to the headquarters. Leader, we've seized 18 pieces of equipment from the enemy this time, including 5 dark gold and 13 orange equipment. On our side, we've lost 47 pieces of top 5 divine equipment. The loss of other equipment and materials in the backpack are countless. The Great Wall of Iron and Blood nodded, his expression heavy. There were too few spoils of war. Most of the players were running out of HP, and many of them could easily retreat. Those who were actually killed were only a minority. However, on their side, they couldn't retreat at all. Even if they died, they had to fight. In the end, although they won, it looked like they had suffered a great loss. Let everyone rest for a while. Let's hurry up and distribute the equipment. The top equipment will still be distributed to the first group. As for the other players who suffered heavy losses, record them down for the time being and compensate them later. These people walked out of the temporary meeting room and saw the players around them helplessly counting their losses. I lost my strong 5 gods martial spear, and I also lost a lot of materials. We don't have a choice. We can't let those civilian players charge into the fray. If they go, they won't be able to fight at all. At this time, we're the only ones going up. If we lose, then so be it. We're at the second heaven. Now that we have to unite and fight against so many strong players, we can't care about these things anymore. At this moment, 40 to 50 people rushed over from behind. They were all Jotian civilian players. A black old man shouted to the professional players around him, "May I ask who can lead us to the current commander?" Li Muhua frowned and walked over. "Old man, I'm from Huaxia's military." "Why are you looking for the commander?" That's great. These people said excitedly. It's like this. Right now, we're mainly relying on you guys to fight against the strong extraterrestrials. However, we all know that our strength is far from the extraterrestrials. You must have suffered heavy losses in the battle just now. Although we poor players aren't skilled and don't have any particularly good equipment, after playing Jotian for so long, we've more or less accumulated some. That's right. We have pills and thousands of divine martial equipment. They were all donated by everyone. We want to give them to you guys. Li Muhua was suddenly moved. Even if they doubled the monthly reward, the ones who farmed the most were still professional teams. The real civilian players couldn't even pass the first boss, let alone farm the divine martial equipment. But, it's very difficult for you guys to farm a divine martial equipment. It's okay. It's just equipment. Now is the time when everyone is a soldier. If you need us, we're ready to be cannon fodder at any time. The old man said excitedly. That's right, young man. Take us to the commander. Without lips, the teeth will be cold. You guys are fighting for all the players on Earth. We won't hide behind you and do nothing. Speaking of which, after the Earth server merged, the infighting had never stopped. However, until now, the players on Earth were unprecedentedly united. There was no distinction between countries, races, gender, or age. Everyone hoped to defeat the strong extraterrestrials. Okay, I'll take you guys there. Soon, the new equipment was distributed. The three main forces received a large amount of equipment and recovered their combat power. However, at this moment, a scout rushed into the base camp. Not good. We've discovered an army of over 1 million coming our way. Some of them are from the first batch of people who attacked us. What? Millions? That's impossible. They can't gather so many people so quickly. It's possible that they've been gathering for a long time. The tens of thousands of people from before were just here to lead the charge. Let's go out and take a look. Muhua, get everyone to prepare for battle. The Great Wall of Iron and Blood shouted Li Muhua's real name in desperation. 10 minutes later, an army of millions with luxurious equipment had gathered outside Earth Village. The players on Earth were ready. The Great Wall of Iron and Blood was at the forefront of the vast army of players behind him. The enemy's leader's ID was Lei Xing. He took a step forward, raised his chin slightly, and looked at the army of players on Earth with contempt. Finally, his gaze fell on the Great Wall of Iron and Blood. TSK, TSK, TSK. So many lambs waiting to be slaughtered. Just looking at them makes me drool. The Great Wall of Iron and Blood also took a step forward. Why do you have to target our Earth village? Didn't you say that 130,000 worlds will open the second heaven? I don't believe that every new village will have millions of old people rushing to plunder. Lei Xing smiled. You're right. However, there are still many things that you don't understand. As for me, I'll let you die with understanding. Jotian opens the second heaven in every world at the same time. When someone defeats the heaven domain boss, the Jotian of this world will open the second heaven in advance. However, before that, the Jotian will open the second heaven twice as long for the first heaven players. The time Lone Tyrant took to clear the heaven domain boss just so happened to be the last batch of players in this batch. Hence, you guys only had doubled the duration for 1 month. Judging from this point alone, you guys are the weakest. Lei Xing smiled. Under normal circumstances, the teams that enter the second heaven early will receive the players from their own world. However, our people have already confirmed that the solipsistic didn't come to protect you. A world like yours that doesn't have anyone to receive you and is weak is naturally the easiest to plunder. Of course, there's one last point, which is also the most important one. Lei Xing's gaze gradually turned cold. Too many of us want to kill the solipsistic, but we can't find him. If you're willing to hand him over, perhaps we'll be lenient and let you go. Chapter 354. If we hand over the solipsistic, you will let us go? Great Wall of Iron and Blood asked. If you hand over the solipsistic and compensate us 100 billion gold coins, we will let you go. Lei Yin smiled. Great Wall of Iron and Blood frowned. At present, if they were to fight this battle, their chances of winning were almost zero. But were they going to hand over the solipsistic? Li Muhua looked at his leader nervously. Was he really going to agree to the other party's conditions? Lei Yin saw that the other party was still hesitating and snorted contemptuously. Kneeling to live is still living. Standing to die is really dead. What is there to hesitate about? Look at what the solipsistic has done for you. He did not do anything for you, why do you want to protect him? 100 billion gold coins may sound scary, but don't forget, you are all players of the same world. Everyone can come up with 30 gold coins. If it is not convenient for you to inform everyone to raise money, this is for you. Inform everyone to raise money now. Lei Yin threw over a tool called the Booming Cauldron. This is the tool for shouting in the current map. Let them raise money. Great Wall of Iron and Blood took the Booming Cauldron. Shouting in the whole map. Even such a basic tool was so powerful in the second layer of Iron and Blood. He used the Booming Cauldron. This way, his voice could spread throughout the entire map. Players of Earth, the other party has given us a condition. If we hand over the solipsistic and compensate them 100 billion gold coins, which is an average of 30 gold coins per person, they will let us go. They will allow us to live on our knees. After this sentence was spread, the whole army of Earth was silent. Because everyone knew that the commander must have something else to say. Indeed, the mad demon is a very selfish person. He massacred a city in the first layer of Iron and killed other players without batting an eye. He has done a lot of bad things in the name of a monster. The most hateful thing is that I came to the second layer of Iron and Blood to pick up money happily. In the end, this bastard directly raised the difficulty of the game to the hard level. I don't even have the strength to complain. Doesn't he think about our feelings? He's an earthling after all. He didn't even guide us when we came. Even if you came and ran away after realizing that you couldn't beat him, I would still feel a little comforted. At least our guide thought of everyone. But he didn't even come. In short, that guy is a complete bastard. Everyone was in agreement with this point. Lei Yin nodded slightly. It seemed that the other party was going to compromise. However, the Great Wall of Iron and Blood's tone suddenly changed. However, no matter how much of a jerk he is still an earthling. There are kind. Without the mad demon, we wouldn't be qualified to stand here. If we wait another 100 days for the second layer of heaven to open naturally, we will be the weakest world in the entire second layer of heaven. It's that bastard who gave us the opportunity to enter the second heavenly layer in advance. The difficulty of the game has increased, but isn't it the same for everyone? If others can survive, why can't we? They want us to compensate 100 billion. This reminds me of the darkest days of Wuxia. From the moment you sign an unequal treaty in order to survive, you can't get the comfort you want. That's just the beginning of being exploited. They want us to live on our knees. Sorry, there's a saying on Earth. We'd rather die standing than live on our knees. Listen up. If you want my answer, then I'll tell you my answer, everyone's answer. Get lost. With my flesh and blood, I'll build a new Great Wall of the world. The Great Wall of Iron and Blood's heartfelt words instantly ignited the anger in the hearts of 3 billion Earth players. Billions of players shouted in unison. With my flesh and blood, I'll build a new Great Wall of the world. With my flesh and blood, I'll build a new Great Wall of the world. With my flesh and blood, I'll build a new Great Wall of the world. The corners of Lei Yin's eyes twitched. She didn't expect that the tool she gave to that guy to persuade him to surrender would become a propaganda tool for him to mobilize people before the war. Well, it seems like you won't feel comfortable until you die a few more times. I gave you face, but you don't want it. Fine, everyone listen up. Massacre the Earth Village. Leave no one alive. Kill them until they don't dare to revive. From today onwards, Earth will forever be the most inferior existence in Jyotian. Kill. The war was about to start. Lei Yin laughed wildly, ha 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 ha, it's finally starting. I'll let you see what a dark gold weapon is. I don't think you've ever seen one before. Return of the 10,000 Swords. However, at this moment, in the sky far away, a golden light suddenly flashed. The golden light flashed and disappeared, but this sudden light attracted everyone's attention. Everyone looked at the sky in surprise. What's that? I don't know, I didn't see anything. Before the voice died away, in the blink of an eye, a long black arrow carrying a great force suddenly appeared in everyone's sight. Then, the arrow directly blasted between the two armies. With a loud bang, the ground shook violently. A black arrow stood in front of the two armies. Because the force was too great, the tail of the arrow was trembling violently. What arrow is this? I've never seen this arrow before. How far away was this arrow shot from? I can't even see the archer. The old players were still more knowledgeable. Someone whispered, Black crystal arrow? Is there really someone who uses such an expensive bow? It's not a matter of whether it's expensive or not. A normal bow can't unleash the full power of the black crystal arrow. Even I can't see the archer. How far away is he? This trembling arrow stood in front of the two armies. However, at this moment, everyone suddenly didn't dare to act rashly. Suddenly, someone used a loud voice to send a message. So in your hearts, I'm a complete bastard. Great wall of iron and blood, wait until I've dealt with those bastards. You have to give me an explanation. Everyone was shocked. The complete bastard that great wall of iron and blood said seemed to be only one person. Could it be, old players of the second heaven, it's fine if you have a problem with me. Didn't you launch a crowdfunding campaign of 1 gold coin per person per day? I have no problem with it at all. However, if you touch my people, I can't tolerate it. Didn't you say that this is a world where the strong preys on the weak? Very well, that means that you're all ready. Then let me, a player from Earth, play this game of the strong preying on the weak with you. On the horizon, people finally saw a small black dot. This small black dot was flying over at an extremely fast speed. Gradually, people finally saw the mount clearly. The king of mounts, the nine-winged sky dragon. It's the nine-winged sky dragon. Is Brother Nameless here? No, it's the mad demon. He just said that he's a solipsistic. Finally, the flying dragon arrived. A person jumped down from the flying dragon. To be precise, it was a demon. The dark green demon spread his wings, swooped down, and landed in the middle of the two armies. Above his head was the only golden ID in the entire server, solipsistic. Chapter 355. When the second heaven players saw this person, they were extremely shocked. That's solipsistic. He's the solipsistic. Why is he in this form? Is it a special effect? Gold ID. Why does he have a gold ID? This is too flashy. That mount. Damn it, why did my mount land? He's the solipsistic, the guy who raised the game's difficulty by 2 levels. Didn't they say he would come? That arrow is his? Where did he shoot it from? Question marks, countless question marks. The expressions of the star system players were not as calm as the Earth players when they first saw Lu Qin. On the contrary, the mad demon now was even stronger and more abnormal. Even if it was not the first time the Earth players had seen Lu Qin's wild monster form, they were still extremely shocked at this moment. It's the mad demon. When did that guy get a gold ID? 1 gold per person per day for a crowd-funded bounty. He's wanted by all these abnormal second heaven players. He's been in second heaven for a month. What has he done? That guy actually remembers us. He treats us as his own people. While they were shocked, the Earth players felt even more joy and pride in their hearts. The mad demon was finally on their side. The huge wings carried the mad demon and landed steadily between the two armies. In fact, after Lu Chen left the door of life and death, he went to Freedom City again and threw a large number of materials and equipment into the city's warehouse. He also did not know that Earth Village was under attack. He only thought that since he had time, he would come and see his fellow villagers and give them some pointers on how to survive in the second heaven. When he arrived at Earth Village, he was not supposed to make it in time for the battle. However, the Great Wall of Iron and Blood's mobilization of the entire map just happened to reach Lu Chen's ears. They were a few miles away and the battle was about to begin. Lu Chen himself could not make it, but the black crystal arrow could. When he arrived at the battlefield, Lu Chen looked at the Earth players. Good Lord, there was a sea of people. He could not see the end of it. He looked at the Great Wall of Iron and Blood and shook his head. This guy had just said that he was a complete bastard. Alright, since what he said was basically the truth, he was forgiven this time. Mad demon, you're finally here. We thought you wouldn't come. The Iron Blood Great Wall looked at Lu Chen excitedly. Lu Chen nodded slightly and didn't say much. He just said lightly, I didn't know about this before. Now that I'm here, I'll help you settle this score with them. Lu Chen's voice was very calm, as if he was talking about something very normal. This caused the faces of the millions of veteran players to turn ugly. Oi, Solipsistic, you're really arrogant. Isn't it just a special effect that looks like a wild monster, a golden ID, and a 9-winged mount? Do you think you can stop our million-strong army by yourself? That's right. Maybe it's because of these benefits that he started the higher difficulty. Even your companions said that you're a complete bastard. You're definitely capable of doing such a thing. We've been looking for you for a long time. Since you've taken the initiative to appear, then it's just right. Today, there are millions of us here. It's enough to trample on you countless times. You've only been in the second heaven for a month. Do you know how long we've been here? Don't think that you're so great just because you completed some mission and started the hard mode. Maybe the mission is just moving your mouth. Lu Chen turned to look at the group of veteran players and narrowed his eyes slightly. I started the hard mode, so what? Why do I need to explain my actions to you? I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you. If you want to live, it's simple. You can target me, but you have to promise that you won't target other Earth players in the future and leave 100 billion gold coins as compensation. Then, I'll let you live. Hearing this, Lei Yin laughed loudly. Ha ha ha, Solipsistic, I've seen crazy people, but I've never seen someone as crazy as you. Are you stupid? Do you think we're afraid of you? That's right. With so many of us, we can kill you instantly. Brothers, let's settle the old and new grudges today. Kill Solipsistic and wash the Earth Village with blood. Lu Chen snorted coldly. The last person who said this was kneeling in Niayuan Village for a week. Looks like you won't give up until you see the coffin. Very well, remember clearly when you beg for mercy later. The compensation will be increased to 200 billion. Great Wall, get everyone to back off. Great Wall of Iron and Blood said nervously. Crazy Demon, how can you defeat so many of them alone? Ha ha ha, Crazy Demon, did you hear that? Even your companions doubt your ability. Stop pretending. Someone on the opposite side laughed loudly. Lu Chen turned to look at Li Muhua and signaled him to persuade Great Wall. Leader, although this is indeed somewhat unbelievable, but, we'd better listen to him. We can't help even if we want to now. Moreover, that guy doesn't seem to be an impulsive person. Great Wall of Iron and Blood hesitated for a moment and finally nodded. Everyone, back off. Don't make unnecessary sacrifices. The Earth players' combat team retreated, leaving enough space for Lu Chen and the level 2 players. Lei Yin sneered and said to Lu Chen, "Don't worry. When you die, we'll let them accompany you. Today, we'll wash the Earth village with blood." Lu Chen smiled ferociously. He, to be honest, I'm afraid you can't do it. Don't talk nonsense. Don't you want to kill me? Now that I'm here, what are you waiting for? Lei Yin snorted coldly and revealed a murderous look. Brothers, kill him. Beside Lei Yin, a prophet shouted angrily, "So you're only using an orange weapon?" "Sorry, I'm the same. And I'm using a crystal sword that's extremely difficult to drop. Xiao Yao's imperial sword, assassination." The characteristic of a crystal sword was that it was difficult to track its movements. Coupled with the skill called assassination, the crystal sword appeared behind Lu Chen in a flash, ready to stab at him. "Solipsistic, you like to show off with a bow, right? Sorry, your daddy's bow is a dark gold bow. I'll torture you to death. Continuous shooting. I'll let you know what the strongest bow is." Lu Chen frowned slightly. That guy actually thought that his dark gold silver bow was the strongest bow. Do you have some misunderstanding about the strongest? Lu Chen shook his head. At the same time, hundreds of people on the other side attacked at once. How strong can a guy from the weakest world be? Everyone, don't be deceived by his appearance. Kill. That's right. You think you can go to heaven with just 2 orange weapons? In level 2, you don't even dare to show off without a dark gold weapon. It's time to wake him up and let him know what kind of existence level 2 is. Facing 200 to 300 skills, Lu Chen shook his head. In battle mode, Lu Chen immediately put away his 2 weapons. "I heard that your equipment is very strong." Lu Chen smiled. "Then let me see how strong it is." After that, Lu Chen took out his black bow. Abyss Dragon Crystal Bow. Enhanced 7. Seeing this bow, the group of people was suddenly petrified. That weapon, why, is it shining with colorful light? Chapter 356. Many of the second layer of heaven players had never seen a legendary weapon before. Legendary weapons were only unlocked after the normal difficulty was unlocked, so no one knew if anyone had gotten one yet. Although they had never seen one, they had heard of it. Could it be a dazzling gold weapon? Legendary weapons were known as dazzling gold or colorful gold because of the different colors on them. Impossible, how could he have a legendary weapon? Oh my god, it's a legendary weapon. This is the first time I've seen a legendary weapon. The Earth players were even more depressed. In the first layer of heaven, only Mad Demon and Nameless had dark gold weapons, and there weren't many of them, only 1 or 2. Now they didn't even have a single dark gold weapon, but Mad Demon had already gotten a dazzling gold weapon. Looking at the expressions of the second layer of heaven players, it was rare to see double even in the second layer of heaven. Didn't they say that they had been in the second layer of heaven for a while? Then they should be stronger than Mad Demon, so they could pass the Sky Domain boss earlier. But they haven't had a dazzling gold weapon for so long, and Mad Demon got one in a month. Too strong. No, higher level equipment can only be unlocked after the normal difficulty is unlocked, so it's useless for them to come early. In that case, we should be thanking the Mad Demon. Think about it, if there was a difficulty adjustment in the first layer of heaven, we wouldn't be so weak in the second layer of heaven if we got more dark gold weapons. You mean, if the difficulty of the second layer of heaven is increased, we won't be defeated in the third layer of heaven? That makes sense. Unfortunately, the discussion of the Earth players didn't reach the other side. There was only hatred in their eyes. Finally, Solipsistic moved. Strongest bow. Flash shot. Lu Chen had already locked onto Lei Yin's crystal sword, as well as the other people's flying weapons. While using the strongest bow, Lu Chen also launched the flash shot skill. Flash shot increased movement speed by 100%. During high-speed movement, it also increased shooting speed by 100% until the skill was cancelled or the pure aura was exhausted. This skill was also very strong. It greatly increased attack speed and movement speed, ensuring that the weak archer could provide strong damage while increasing their survival rate. Of course, Lu Chen wasn't weak at all. He didn't choose any profession back then, and all three aspects of his development were average. What he needed was speed of attack and movement. His movement speed allowed him to dodge skills, while his attack speed allowed him to unleash the effects of the strongest bow more times in a short period of time. In an instant, Lu Chen's movement speed increased dramatically. At the same time, he knocked an arrow on his bow and shot out 40 to 50 black crystal arrows. What was that guy doing? He doesn't seem to be attacking the enemy. 40 to 50 black crystal arrows in one go. This guy is really rich. Who cares? Killing him is a huge gain. I must get his dazzling gold bow. However, before he could finish his sentence, he heard dozens of explosions in the sky. In the next second, the dozens of weapons that were pursuing him in the sky shattered. At this moment, the world seemed to have fallen silent. My weapon, why did it explode? It didn't explode upon death, but, it really exploded. Motherfucker, this is impossible. It's impossible for my orange-grade weapon to drop. My dark gold dagger, no, impossible, this can't be real. This must be an illusion. There can't be such a perverted special effect. This is too much. Lei Yin was completely stunned. He still had many moves in his Xiaoyao sword art, but now, he couldn't use any of them. System notification, unable to use Xiaoyao sword art, no matching weapon. Of course, there was no matching weapon because his flowing cloud crystal sword had already shattered into pieces. My strongest 5 crystal sword, why did it explode? Just as he finished his sentence, 3 black crystal arrows, with a speed that couldn't be seen, almost simultaneously hit the bow in the hands of the guy who was holding the dark gold bow. With a boom, the dark gold bow shattered. Lu Chen dodged the wave of attacks. Taking advantage of the time when everyone was stunned, he also stopped. Quick movement. I heard that your bow is the strongest bow. Lu Chen looked at that guy with interest, but now, it seems that you are not even fit to be my son. So next time, pay attention to your words. Otherwise, it won't be good if you kick an iron plate. Lu Chen specifically destroyed his weapon mainly because of his foul mouth. That guy's mind was buzzing. His dark gold bow, before Mad Demon's bow, was considered the best bow in the entire server. But now, it had become a pile of scrap metal. No, impossible. Even if you are a dazzling gold bow, how can you destroy my weapon? That guy widened his eyes, almost on the verge of madness. Without this bow, his strength instantly dropped by a few levels. In the second heaven of hard mode, how could he survive in the future? Lu Chen coldly snorted, normal dazzling gold bows can't destroy your weapon. Unfortunately, mine isn't normal. Didn't you want to destroy my weapon? I'm not afraid to tell you that this bow of mine is the strongest 7 legendary bow. If you have it, come and get it. Once these words came out, the million-strong army was instantly shocked. Strongest 7. Impossible. No one can even strengthen dark gold bows, how can he strengthen dazzling gold bows? What kind of devil is this guy? He isn't human at all. When the Earth players saw this scene, they felt extremely happy. It was not that Mad Demon had destroyed these people's weapons, but from their expressions and reactions, they were exactly the same as the Earth players. Ha 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 ha, these so-called super experts are like newbies in front of Mad Demon. It's exactly the same as when we saw Mad Demon Nameless. How is it? Now you know why we call him Mad Demon. That guy isn't human at all. What kind of super expert is he? He even said that we were frogs at the bottom of a well. Now, he's no different from us. For a moment, no one used skills like sword manipulation. The group of people held their weapons tightly. They had no choice. Their days were already difficult. If Solipsistic destroyed their weapons, they would be back to square one. However, Solipsistic's real attack began at this moment. Lightless Sky Flame Pillar. Black Coffin Death Zone. These two skills were a must-use at the beginning of the game. However, the next scene shocked everyone. Rapid movement. Solipsistic did not like other archers who liked to distance themselves. Instead, he rushed into the crowd of players. This position allowed Sky Flame Pillar and Black Coffin Death Zone to be used to their fullest potential. At the same time, the others would definitely not expect this guy to rush into the crowd with a bow and arrow. That's not right. Mad Demon should use melee weapons after getting close. Why is he still using a bow? Ironblood Great Wall frowned. Bow and arrow were most afraid of close combat, but Mad Demon chose to do so. He did not know how strong Lu Chen's 8 Desolates universe had become after reaching level 6. When Lu Chen entered the crowd, the health of the people around him began to drop rapidly. Sky Flame Pillar had 0.1 seconds of preparation time. It was almost impossible to dodge. Once hit, one would be stunned for 0.5 seconds. This was equivalent to Lu Chen having a light barrier around him. Whoever got close would be unlucky. Black Coffin Death Zone had a large area of continuous health damage. It was unavoidable, too scary. My blood. Get away from him. These two skills are fatal. Motherfucker, get away from him. Don't let him get close. The group of people crazily ran away from Lu Chen. Ironblood Great Wall frowned. After a long time, he finally spoke. This is a melee archer. Chapter 357. An archer actually dashed into the crowd and started killing. This caused the players' heads to buzz. The strongest bow. Lu Chen turned around and shattered a flying sword with 2 arrows. The player who tried to sneak an attack was heartbroken. My strongest level 5 orange weapon. When the others saw this, they gasped. It can shatter the opponent's weapon and nullify the skill. Is this the terror of a legendary weapon? Kill him. Kill him. Use Earth-level techniques. Surround him, let's attack together. Lu Chen snorted. Standing so close together, aren't you courting death? Underground magma. The ground suddenly shook violently. Then, the ground bulged up. The players in the center of the earthquake were all stunned. Then, magma erupted from the bulging gap. In the distance, the Earth players saw this scene and were speechless. This is a volcanic eruption. Is this Mad Demon's skill? He can trigger a volcanic eruption. This is too crazy. He can be this strong. Oh my god, this is unbelievable. Now I'm relieved. I used to wonder why we should play the game with him. In the end, we're so much weaker than him. But now, look at those level 2 players who can't fight back. They're so strong, but they're still tortured to death. What are we? Actually, I think Mad Demon was really merciful to us. So this is Mad Demon's true strength. Although Feng Ling was not standing in the front row, she could still see the battle in the distance. When she saw Mad God single-handedly taking on 1,000,000 level 2 players, Fengling was very excited. Mad God, I knew you would come. I also know that you've always been kind. You won't let others bully the Earth players. Lu Yi and the others were closer to the front. At this time, Lu Yi frowned. Oh my God, Mad Demon's strength is too terrifying. Why do I feel that my brother, our big brother, can't beat him? Lu Yi certainly did not want Nameless to lose to Mad Demon. Although they seemed to be on good terms, she still hoped that her brother was the strongest. But now, it seemed that Mad Demon's strength was too terrifying. Li Muhua glanced at Lu Yi and whispered to her, "Hey, your brother hasn't told you yet? What didn't you tell me?" Li Muhua was not a talkative person. Since Lu Chen did not say anything, it was not convenient for him to say more. He scratched his head and said, "Oh, no. It's just that your brother didn't tell you who is stronger between him and Mad God. I think my brother is still the strongest. My brother has been grinding dungeons recently. I believe that when he comes out, he will definitely be stronger than before. I believe in him." Lu Yi said proudly. Li Muhua nodded. Who was stronger between Nameless and Mad God? Anyway, Lu Chen was just casually speculating. But then again, why didn't Lu Chen tell his sister about his other identity? At this point, Mad Demon and Nameless were one and the same. It did not matter even if it was made public. Lu Chen naturally had his own reasons for not mentioning his two identities to anyone. Become solipsistic or nameless, you decide. That was what the wandering deity NPC said to Lu Chen. As Lu Chen delved deeper into the game, he gradually understood this sentence. Now, no one thought that Jiutian was a simple game anymore. Perhaps the answer would be revealed as they explored more heavenly regions. Regardless, Lu Chen did not plan to reveal his identity for now. There were screams from the heavenly regions players. What kind of damage is this? Is he crazy? Fuck, I can't get close to him. I'll be at critical health in a few seconds. He's using his bow when he doesn't get close. We don't dare to use our high-level skills. How can we fight him? His health is 4 million. How is this possible? It's so hard to hit him, and he even activates a super large area of effect taunt. His health is so fast. We can't hit him at all. Did you see the damage reflected? I finally got close to him. With one sword, I lost more health than him. Facing a million-strong army, even Lu Chen could not be completely unscathed. However, after being hit, Lu Chen had a 33% chance of activating passive taunt, which increased his defense by 100% and his health recovery by a large margin. The health that was hard to reduce could be recovered by a lot with passive taunt. In addition, Lu Chen could also use the health recovery skill Rejuvenation, which could recover 50% of his health at once. Not only is his attack high, but he also has high defense and health. Not only that, he also has passive health recovery. Not only that, he also has active health recovery. Fuck, I'm not going to fight anymore. What kind of archer is this? Have you ever seen an archer chasing after you? After a full hour, hundreds of thousands of the heavenly regions players had been slaughtered. Spiritual Energy Storm. Lu Chen activated the Mutt Orb skill, and his pure spiritual energy was restored to full. The group of people completely collapsed. My heart is dead. Too scary, he's really a demon. We can't win. My weapon is already gone. I don't want to fight anymore. This kind of monster is not something we can deal with. Why does this kind of guy exist in the heavenly regions? This is simply unreasonable, it's simply unfair. After another wave of killing, Lu Chen used Spiritual Energy Storm again. This time, the players were completely speechless. This guy can't be killed, so many strong players have died, we can't do anything anymore. I want to go back to the novice village now. 6 million bounty. This fucking double is not too much. After 3 hours of slaughter, 60% to 70% of the heavenly regions players had fallen, and the remaining people had been frightened by Lu Chen's strength, hiding at the side and not daring to attack again. Lu Chen did not kill them all, he finally stopped and stood at the side to rest, waiting for the others to resurrect. Not long after, Lei Yin and the others finally decided to resurrect. When they saw Solipsistic, everyone no longer had any thoughts of fighting. This guy's strength was already above the million-strong army. Resurrected? Lu Chen said indifferently, "Good, then let's discuss the compensation." Lei Yin looked at Lu Chen in horror. "Solipsistic, why are you so strong? Logically speaking, you should have already cleared the heavenly domain boss." Lu Chen shook his head. "What's the rush to clear the heavenly domain boss? None of you can leave," I said, "before you paid 100 billion, but from the moment I made my move, you have to pay 200 billion. 200 billion. According to the calculation of the 2 million players, each player had to pay 100,000 gold. What? You're still not satisfied?" Lu Chen was somewhat impatient. "Solipsistic, we can't take out that much money." Lei Yin finally spoke the truth. 100,000 gold per person. Even in the previous difficulty of the game, there were very few people who could take out that much, not to mention now. Chapter 358. Solipsistic, we really don't have that much money. The other players also pleaded. If we had that much money, we wouldn't have come here to rob the players from Earth Village. Yeah, we admit that we can't beat you, but even if we sell all our equipment, we won't be able to take out that much money. You opened hard mode, and our consumption has increased by several times. We've been unable to make ends meet for a long time. Lu Chen frowned. So you're not willing to abide by my words? Mad Demon, we won't target other Earth players in the future, but we really don't have that much money. These people had already given up resisting, but the problem was that even if they admitted defeat, they couldn't take out the money. Lu Chen thought for a while. Forget it, you're not the one robbing me. Explain it to the Earth players yourselves. Lu Chen asked the Earth players to send a representative to discuss the compensation with the other party. Of course, he didn't leave and personally supervised the scene. We can't take out such a large amount of compensation. Now that the difficulty of the second heaven has increased by 2 levels, most people don't even have enough money to buy medicine. The Great Wall of Iron and Blood was also dumbfounded. Were the players in the second heaven so pitiful? Cough cough, didn't you say that you're strong enough to defeat the heaven domain boss for several months? How can you not have money? The speaker was no longer Lei Yin, but a man in his 40s. He sighed. Actually, it's not what you think. The income from the second heaven is indeed good, but the cost is also high. The cost of learning high-level skills is very high, and we still have to repair our equipment and buy medicine. Originally, we could still make ends meet, and we barely had some left. You should have seen the wild monsters in the second heaven, right? Their attack doesn't lose to the boss of the first heaven. Under normal circumstances, we can kill them. But Mad Demon, The man was halfway through his sentence when he suddenly looked at Lu Chen with trepidation. His resentment instantly dissipated, and he quickly changed his attitude. Ahem, but the game's difficulty is much higher than before. The monster's stats have quadrupled, and their attack, defense, and blood spirits have all been boosted. On the other hand, the player's stats have been reduced by 22.5%. Not only has their damage been reduced, but their healing has also been reduced. Just do the math. Even the Radiant Moon werewolves outside are having a hard time fighting. They have to use a large number of pills every time they attack, and the prices here are high. Another representative, a female player, sighed. Actually, the people who came to crusade against the mad demons are the ones who have been affected the most. Our strength is at level 2, and we are not the top existences. The real experts wouldn't even bother to come here. The Great Wall of Iron and Blood exchanged glances with the other representatives. You guys aren't the strongest at level 2. Of course not. The compensation proposed by Lane may seem scary, 100 billion, but on average, it's only 300 gold coins per person. But you want us to pay 200 billion instead. We only have 2 million people. This is really not enough. The Great Wall of Iron and Blood suddenly understood why this group of people hated Solipsistic so much. He had single-handedly changed the fate of all the players, causing them to fall below the poverty line from having enough to eat and wear. Speaking of which, this group of Earth players had to face such a terrifying world as soon as they arrived. A few people faintly looked at Lu Chen, who was looking at the sky. The level 2 players suddenly started to act pitiful, but looking at the situation, it seemed that what they said was the truth. They were willing to admit defeat, but what if they couldn't afford it? The Great Wall of Iron and Blood looked at his companions, then looked at Lu Chen. Mad God, and everyone else, I have a suggestion. What do you think? You can't afford the compensation, but you can't not pay anything. So, I have 3 conditions. Lu Chen said indifferently, you're the representative now. You don't have to ask for my opinion. The level 2 players also said seriously, okay, tell us first. With Lu Chen around, the Great Wall of Iron and Blood started to feel more confident. First, you can't target Earth players in the future. We can ignore normal PK and robbing, but actions like today's will definitely not happen. Second, you have to return all the equipment, gold coins, and materials that you've obtained from us. Third, you have to carry us for a month. The Great Wall of Iron and Blood said, you can divide your people into 200 teams. During this month, you have to follow our arrangements. We will distribute you to each country, and you will then lead us to fight the Radiant Moon werewolves. We can share the experience, but the equipment and materials will belong to us. Although our combat power is a little low, we have a lot of people. We can arrange enough pharmacists for you. This way, you won't have to keep buying pills. The Great Wall of Iron and Blood looked at his companions, and the representatives all nodded. They had no objections to his suggestion. On the other hand, the defeated party didn't have much say in the first place. Moreover, among the conditions that the Great Wall of Iron and Blood had proposed, the first 2 were like no punishment. The third one could actually achieve a win-win situation to a certain extent. Great Wall, you're too good to them. Lu Chen couldn't stand it anymore. 200 billion. Would working for a month be enough to pay it back? Moreover, they could still share the experience. The Great Wall of Iron and Blood explained, Mad God, actually, it's not easy for them. Now that the game's difficulty has increased, everyone's life isn't easy. There's no need to force them to their deaths. When the level 2 players heard Mad God's tone, they obviously felt that the punishment wasn't severe enough. They quickly added, yes, yes. Everyone's life isn't easy. In the future, we definitely won't find trouble with you. This month, we'll definitely do our best to carry you. Lu Chen pursed his lips. You guys agreed quite quickly. Forget it. Since both sides feel that there's no problem, I won't interfere. However, I'll say the ugly words first. If anyone slacks off, don't blame me for being rude. We wouldn't dare. Actually, this punishment. No, to be precise, it should be cooperation. It's beneficial for both sides. We also want to level up quickly. Mad God, forget it. They're really quite pitiful, a Guild Alliance representative said. Yes, I heard about their experiences. I also feel quite pitiful. Lu Chen looked depressed. This group of people actually joined forces to plead for mercy for the other party. Their experiences had already made the enemy feel pity for them. It seemed that they were really quite pitiful. Got it. Lu Chen stood up. Then you guys discuss the details. I'll go find a few friends. After saying that, Lu Chen directly walked to the back of the human formation. With so many people, it was obviously not easy to find someone. Lu Chen directly shouted in a loud voice. Winchim, come find me. I'll take you to level up. Oh right, Mad Waves people, come over too. Nameless asked me to take you guys to level up. In front of billions of people, they were called out by Mad God. This honor made the 3 billion Earth players green with envy. Even the 2 million level 2 players on the opposite side revealed looks of envy and jealousy. Damn, that guy is personally taking you to level up. What the fuck? Sigh, some people have already won at the starting line. Why don't I have such a friend? I'm so envious. If only Mad God could take me along. I just want to ask, does Mad Wave still need people? Chapter 359. Standing beside Solipsistic, Winchim blushed all the way to her neck. She did not expect this guy to call her out in front of all the players in the galaxy. Mad God. Winchim greeted Lu Chen shyly. Lu Chen smiled. Although his smile was still a little scary, at least it wasn't that kind of crazy and bloodthirsty smile. I still have to thank you for helping me buy the skill book. When the people from Wild Waves come, I'll take you to level up. Winchim was a little disappointed. Was he only bringing her because she bought the skill book for him? Was there nothing else? Of course, it was not convenient for her to ask this question. Not long after, Lang Noa rushed over with a group of people. Wild Waves now had 2,500 people. Even Mad Demon could not bring everyone. He could only pick the best first and then let them bring the rest. After seeing Mad Demon, they were still a little nervous. After all, Lu Chen's current appearance was a little scary. Mad God, hello. May I ask where our guild leader is? Lang Noa asked. We haven't seen him in a long time. Oh, him. He came to the second heaven with me. He's been busy these 2 days, so he asked me to take care of you guys. Back then, only Lu Chen could see the heaven domain opening rune. The others did not know that only the team that defeated the heaven domain boss could enter the second heaven in advance. Anyway, he could say whatever he wanted. So the guild leader came to the second heaven a long time ago. He still misses us. Of course, when has the guild leader not cared about us? Mad God, if you meet the guild leader, please let him know. Everyone misses him. Lu Chen nodded. Okay, I'll let him know. Now that everyone was here, Lu Chen summoned Nine-Winged. Nine-Winged, let them take a ride. Other than Lu Chen, Nine-Winged never liked others riding on him. Lu Chen had to discuss with this guy, Roar. Nine-Winged knew this group of people, so he reluctantly gave them a ride. Nine-Winged Sky Dragon soared into the sky. The group felt like they were on a roller coaster. Screams came from behind Nine-Winged. Not long after, Nine-Winged finally calmed down. As for the identity of the Mad Demon, this group of people was more or less afraid. A demon with a gold ID should not be easy to get along with. Ahem. Lu Chen was the first to speak. These guys were all his old friends. He also wanted to chat with them. When we farm later, stand next to me. Don't run around. Oh, okay. Lu Chen was speechless. Why were these guys so afraid of him? Well, only humor could resolve the current awkwardness. I'll leave whoever runs around in the werewolf camp and let them go home on their own. Mad God, we'll remember that we won't run around. Everyone gulped and said, Mad God, we won't run around. Lu Chen was speechless. If he were to say this as Nameless, they would definitely start teasing him. But now. Sigh, forget it. I'll just fly over quietly. After a moment of silence, Ning Shuang suddenly plucked up her courage and asked Lu Chen, Mr. Mad God, is my master doing well? I haven't seen him in a long time. Speaking of which, a month was not too long. However, in Ning Shuang's heart, time seemed to pass very slowly. I'm much stronger than before. This time, I'm 2 rounds away from entering the list of 120 people. I want to tell my master this news. Winchim was also surprised. Wow, the list of 120 people. That's the strongest 120 people in the world. Very strong. Ning Shuang was a little embarrassed. I'm still far from my master. I just hope that he won't think that his disciple is weaker than others. Lu Chen was a little surprised. As a non-professional player, Ning Shuang's improvement was definitely huge. This disciple of his had always been very hard-working. Lu Chen nodded and said, "Well, that's very good. Continue to work hard. Your master will be happy for you." Then, Lu Chen looked at Winchim. Winchim, Second Heaven needs a stable team. If you're willing, join Mad Waves. Winchim was stunned. Join Mad Waves? But they already have an official live stream. It's okay. You can do an official live stream or do it yourself. Actually, with Mad Wave's current scale, it won't be a problem to host a few official live streams at the same time. Noah, what do you think? Lu Chen called Lang Noah, causing Lang Noah to be stunned for a while. Mad God actually called her that. Were they close? Fortunately, Lang Noah reacted quickly. Sister Winchim, Mad God is right. We're planning to develop more official live streams. If you're willing to join us, of course we'd be more than happy to. Of course, if you want to continue doing your own live stream, it's not a problem. We all know how popular you are. Letting the fans see that even the most popular streamer has joined Mad Waves is actually a kind of promotion. Winchim had actually received many invitations from guilds. Monolith, Thunderclap, Friendship, and so on had expressed their interest to her. After all, she was the most popular girl on Jotian's official website and had a large number of fans. For Winchim, after reaching Second Heaven, it was indeed necessary to find a strong and stable guild. And Mad Waves was definitely the best choice. If you don't mind, I'm willing to join Mad Waves. Lang Noah, Lu Yi, and Ning Shuang pulled Winchim intimately. That's great. I'll send out an invitation now. 20 minutes later, Lu Chen brought everyone to the Radiant Moon Werewolves base camp. When they saw the hundreds of Radiant Moon Werewolves below, their faces turned pale. So many Radiant Moon Werewolves. And their levels are higher than those at the entrance of the village. The ones here are all level 5 to 55. Are we going to level up here? The 9-winged Frost's flight path answered their questions. After circling in the air for a while, it landed at the entrance of the base camp. Lu Chen did a head count. Lu Yi, Winchim, Lang Noah, Ning Shuang, 10 steps, Floral Fragrance, Little May, Chic Handsome, Stardust, Gaming Black Hole, the 3 Adonis brothers, Little Ming, and the leaders of Mad Waves. There were a total of 41 people. Stand around me. Oh, Winchim, Little Ming, since you're live streaming now, there should be a lot of people watching. Lu Chen suddenly thought of this. The more people watching, the higher their income would be. Can we start it? The two were surprised. Lu Chen said nonchalantly. It doesn't matter. Since Mad God didn't care, Winchim and Little Ming hurriedly started the live stream. Livestream Mad Demon is leveling up. With this question alone, the number of viewers in the 2 live stream rooms soared quickly. Wow, livestream Mad Demon is leading people. I've never seen Mad Demon leading people before. That's great. We can finally see how Mad Demon levels up. This is a historical mystery of Jotian. The last time Brother Nameless led people, damn, 20 minutes was worth a few million experience points. I wonder how Mad Demon's leveling speed is. Chapter 360. Everyone was looking forward to Mad Demon's wild farming. However, Lu Chen summoned his clone and lured the monsters away. After leading the group into the werewolf's base camp, they found an open space and lay down. I've been too tired from farming dungeons for the past 2 days. I'll take a nap. Huh. The group was surprised. Mad God, I don't think we can farm here. Lu Chen froze for a moment, then realized that he didn't make it clear. Oh, I'll farm the monsters. You guys can rest here. But you just said you wanted to sleep, I'll let my pet release the skills for me. It's not difficult. She'll do it. Lu Chen looked at everyone's blank faces. Pet? How could there be a pet here? Lu Chen smiled and shook his head. Xiao Min, come out and say hello to everyone. As soon as he said that, a little ghost suddenly appeared in front of everyone. Hello, I'm Boss's ghost pet, Xiao Min, Stardust, and the others widened their eyes. Ghost pet, Louis looked at Xiao Min in surprise. Although Xiao Min was in ghost form, the little girl still looked very cute, like a little loli. What a beautiful little girl. Thank you. Sister is also very beautiful. Huh, you're so good with words. Mad God, where else can we find such a ghost pet? Lu Chen glared at his sister. The little girl looked silly. Of course not. She's the only one in the entire server. The smile on Lu Yi's face suddenly froze. Thinking about it, how could a guy like Mad God have a bad pet? She was the only one in the entire server. Yes, I got it when I was at level 1. Usually, she attaches herself to me, so you guys can't see her. She'll release simple skills for me. You guys just stay by my side. Xiao Min, clone, use spiritual energy burst when it's cooled down. If you don't have enough spiritual energy, eat a turned mixed energy pill. I'm going to sleep for a while. Okay, boss. Xiao Min obediently returned to Lu Chen's body. The doppelganger pulled the aggro while the heavenly flame pillar and black coffin dead zone cleared the monsters. After strengthening his skills, the heavenly flame pillar and black coffin dead zone dealt off the charts. With his doppelganger protecting him, the radiant moon werewolves couldn't even get close to him. The rest was left to Xiao Min. Lu Chen lay down to sleep. Lu Chen was indeed tired. He had been grinding the door of life and death for several consecutive days. He had been grinding for more than 10 hours a day. Most importantly, it was very boring. This made it easy for him to feel sleepy. Before long, Lu Chen fell asleep. Lang Noa and the others looked around. A large number of radiant moon werewolves were charging over furiously, but they were already suffering continuous damage from afar. At a radius of about 200 meters, a circle of heavenly flame pillars connected together like a wall of light. As long as the werewolves came into contact with this wall of light, they would be stunned and burned. Almost no one could enter this area. His clones were helping to pull the werewolves that had escaped from the corners, while others were taking care of the werewolves that had made it through the heavenly flame pillar. Heavens, these werewolves are unbeatable super bosses to us, but Mad God is farming them like this? Stardust shook his head and sighed. That's ridiculous. Is this how Mad God usually levels up? I know it's wrong of me to feel this way, but I really want to say. I'm so envious. He's leveling up while lying down and sleeping. What the hell is this? The fans watching the live stream were also in an uproar. Damn, my worldview has been shattered. We have to die just to kill a werewolf, but Mad God is sleeping and leveling up at the same time. I finally know why Mad God is so strong. His leveling speed alone isn't something a human can achieve. Mad God has been here for a month. At this rate, won't he be maxed out? Don't be naive. There's a level limit to leveling up. Besides, he has to farm for equipment. Otherwise, what's the point of leveling up alone? You've seen Mad God's dazzling gold bow. That's the power of a legendary weapon. Brothers, I imagined myself as Mad God just now. It felt so good. You guys should give it a try too. Leveling up while sleeping. Wow, it's so good. Don't think about those unrealistic things. It's better to imagine yourself as Mad Waves members. They're having a great time too. Mad Waves members, who were leveling up with Lu Chen, did not need to do anything. They were shocked speechless as they watched their experience bars increase rapidly. 54 minutes later, the group suddenly emitted a golden light. Pillars of light rose from their feet. The eyes of the people watching the live stream almost popped out of their sockets. Damn, they've reached level 51 in just half an hour. I can't be any more jealous. This is the difference between people. I don't expect to be Mad God. Please give me a friend like Mad God. From level 50 to level 51, they only needed 200 million experience points. With 41 people, that was 2 billion experience points. Ling Noah and the others looked at the sleeping Mad God and suddenly realized something. Oh, please don't let him wake up. The sooner he wakes up, the less we'll level up. Yes, we can't let him wake up. Ladies, sacrifice yourselves. You must serve Mad God well. Brothering June, what are you talking about? Serve Mad God well? I didn't know you were such a handsome guy. Oh, I'm asking you to, fan Mad God. Also, he must be uncomfortable lying down. Xian, let him sleep on your lap. Noah, Lu Yi, Ning Shuang, Xiao Mei, give Mad God a massage. The more relaxed he is, the deeper he'll sleep. Hey, brothering June, why don't you do it yourself? Hey, if I were as beautiful as you guys, I'd definitely do it myself. I'm a man. What if Mad God wakes up and sees me touching him? What if he kills me? Everyone thought about it. Mad God was probably straight. Brothering June was indeed not suitable to do it. 10 Steps also said, Brothering June is right. Think about it, 1 level in an hour. That's above level 50. If we do it ourselves, we might not be able to level up that much in a month. It'd be a shame to miss this opportunity. Anyway, it's a formal service and we're in a game. Please sacrifice yourselves. Sheik also chimed in, hey, if I were a girl, I'd fall in love with Mad God. Although he's a little hardcore, have you seen Beauty and the Beast? Charming is charming. Ing Jun and the others had a point. After all, it was just a game. The 4 guilds looked at the sleeping Mad God. He was a terrifying demon. But it had to be said that although he wasn't handsome in the traditional sense, he was very handsome and cool. Alright, for everyone's happiness, let's do it. Xian was a little shy at first. However, at this critical moment, the necessary sacrifice was definitely worth it. She gently placed Lu Chen's head on her lap. The group didn't need to fight monsters anyway, so they immediately got busy. Xuan's legs became Lu Chen's pillow. Ling Noah, Feng Lingzi, Lu Yi, Ning Shuang, and Little Mei fanned and rubbed Lu Chen's legs. All of a sudden, what should have been a tense and intense leveling scene suddenly became an extremely erotic scene. Seeing these goddess-like beauties serving Mad God to sleep, the live stream was filled with jealousy. Okay, I want to become stronger. I must become stronger. Me too, I want to sleep on a beauty's lap. I want to roll on a beauty's lap. Brother, wake up or, you're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.